mic. There we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Black Angus Reviews. Doing another episode of Utter Chaos. No, it's not the bald guys. This one will be titled Utter Chaos, Mara Jade, and the Gender Checks. New band in town. What's up, everybody? Crazy week for me. We'll be talking about that. Spider-Man has left the MCU fucking finally after they've repeatedly tried to cuck him and make him a little twink. Sony's like, yeah, we'll keep him. Um, and make all that money off it. And yeah, so we're here. We'll start with Mara Jade. Is it Mara? Mara? How do you want to say it?
It's pronounced Mara. Mara Jade.
Mara. Okay,
Yes.
cool. Yeah, so thanks for coming on. Tell us about yourself. I've heard in the grapevine you were thinking about starting a channel. Maybe you could address that rumor and anything else you want us to know about.
Uh, yes. I love that grapevine that we have in the Fandom Menace. Technically, I do have a channel. I just haven't uploaded anything because, as I said earlier, my laptop is old and doesn't like me. So until I can afford a new one, it's basically my social media presence is primarily on Twitter, where I like to make beta males cry by gender checking every day.
Oh,
So,
I love it.
Gender checks
and
mean
what
more
else
when
we
they come
got
from
basically
ladies.
yeah, so that's basically my social media presence right now. So
I
when I
would
can finally get a laptop, then I can start uploading videos.
I would say Mara has the most violent of gender checks.
Yeah, I would agree.
They scare
Well,
me.
she's been trained, so
Well, when I want to force choke, the more violent the gifts is when I want to force choke Google, basically. So
Well, Mandy came through with a good one earlier too, though.
yeah,
I
You guys
love it.
see that one?
I love it when the new people come on. They're like, I don't know if this is right, but gender check. Or no, it's more like Ron Burgundy. They're like, gender check? But yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, Mara, do you know how gender check came about?
I only know that Snowdub started it, and then I saw like this little binary beta going after you guys, and then I basically just said like, you know what, screw it, and I just like put some gender check gifts in the responses. Like, how do you like that? So,
Yeah, well, I'll tell you from what I can recall. Maybe Steven will know, or Immortal, but from what I recall, gender check happened because, just like other people I associate with on YouTube and Twitter, I'm very open. I like the ladies of the night. Um,
Is that what they're called?
of both genders, if you understand,
Uh-huh.
it can be like Akbar says, a trap.
Dudes,
Um,
dudes with tits. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
chicks with dicks, love the pretty
No,
ones.
there are no chicks with dicks. There's only dudes with tits.
Anyway, it got to the point where they're like, I don't know if I should, be attracted to this image, Angus, because I don't know if it's a lady or not. So they're like, I need to gender check them.
the Ryan Johnson School of Women. You've been subverted.
But no,
You've been Johnsoned.
Snowdub, Snowdub, sorry if it started on the Ribbit and Bigot show, but I recall it starting in our chat, so I give you credit regardless, but I assumed it was,
Snowdub is the godfather of the gender check.
yeah.
oh, I got a gender check story for you guys that my dad told me years back. This happened to like one of his friends. Like, it's nothing really like dirty about it, but he was with one of his friends, and the guy noticed someone from behind and said, like, look at the ass on her, and the person turned around and it was a guy.
Whoops.
So
Yeah.
he basically just shut up at that point and didn't want to talk.
Have you ever seen that? I'm sure there's multiple ones, but I remember seeing this one video of like a trap joke where there's like this nice ass and legs and like those yoga pants, jogging pants, whatever, like skin tight, and you're like, this guy's like, damn, he's about to like go up, and then it's like dude like gets up from stretching and he's like, trying to figure out like how to like avoid this and not look suspicious socially. Like, whoa, you're about to, it's all a prank on purpose, but he doesn't know that. And yeah, so I've seen there's been some good gender check comedy prior to Trump
Yeah.
getting elected and everything just turning deranged.
Well, yeah, there's been several like milestone moments into what became encapsulated by the gender check hashtag. The one that really is sticking out in my mind is the "it's ma'am."
That's a good
Oh.
one.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and there was another video where this guy's like walking down the street in Europe somewhere, and these people are accosting him, just like, and she's trying to be really polite about it, and it's like, please leave me alone, please leave me alone, please stop that, please leave me alone. Finally, she had to bust out the dude voice. I said to fucking leave me alone.
Damn.
And I look at it like any trans woman that has to go through any kind of harassment or anything like that. Like I'll tell them the same thing: turn around and beat their ass, because there ain't nothing that a straight man wants to ever have to admit than he got beat up by a trans woman. That you win every time. You win that fight hands down, whether you win, lose, or draw. Do it.
I mean, if I'm in that situation, I'm running like Forrest Gump because
I'm running. Yeah.
I'm running because like, well,
You lose.
sorry I am running away from that because it's
How do you guys
like,
run in heels?
it's a woman, quote unquote.
Is
It's a
Angus
woman.
wearing heels in this hypothetical scenario?
It's a woman, even though they want to beat your ass like a dude in the moment, and so it's like they're going to spin it like, oh, he attacked a trans woman, and yeah, so it's going to get
Yeah.
weird, legal. They're going to treat it like a Me Too, a female. So
Oh,
it's
I'm
just
worried about
run
that.
away.
No, I ain't worried about that. I'm worried about going to my local bar and them knowing what happened. I'm worried about going to the sports game and beat up.
Oh,
And then
God,
he slapped her
especially
face with what?
especially you're in like Philly fan country, and they're hostile, they're brutal Philly fans, and you're close to ground zero. So if people know that stigma's on you, and you're at the bar and the Eagles lose, oh fuck, that's all I can say. You better run, boy.
I'm hiding underground like Saddam.
All right, enough silliness. Well, I guess not. Mortal Roger, fairly regular on the show. What's been going on with y'all before we proceed with the topics at hand?
Mortal,
as
you
for
want to
me-
go first? Okay.
Yeah, man. As for me personally, I'm hanging out in a Star Wars shirt and drinking Alaskan Ambers. Really interesting week. There's a lot of stuff that I definitely would be weighing in on when the time arrives. But before we do that, I wanted to say thanks to Steve. He was on a stream with Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, which is going to play into all this tonight. But you actually got a lot of the smaller channels shouted out, and I'm one of the smaller channels in the Fandom Menace. I have like 120 subs maybe, but I do what I can and I pump shit out and I call it like it is. And Angus has been a staunch supporter for damn close to a year now. So appreciate it, bros. And go ahead, Raj.
Hey. Yeah. So my new name for my YouTube channel has been changed over to Iron Wolf 1970 to avoid confusion, and
So
you can
it's
find me on.
transitioned.
Yes, didn't see that coming. Anyway,
Not this crowd.
Open your eyes and embrace the mist.
Oh, I'd rather keep my eyes closed at this point. And you can find me on Twitter, Roger Larson 1970. Just look for the wolf.
All right, that
But
was
just
that was
working on
awful.
another story. That's about it. That's it.
No,
I'm
so
done.
wait. What's your story? I know you do like I would say short fanfics. Am I
Yeah,
wrong in
kind of.
calling it that?
I mean, they're not really styled after any specific like Blade or anything. But I stick to specific genres like horror, fantasy. I did a vampire story. It was like about 24 pages, 6 chapters, and then I send them out in blocks of 4 pages on Twitter because that's like the only that's the number of photos that you're allowed to post on any one tweet, unless you add to it. And the one I'm working on now is more of a science fiction. It's called Dystopia, and I just added on. That's on my pinned tweet now, so I just add to it whenever I finish a chapter.
Sorry, I'm just I'm catching up with the
Uh-oh.
chat. And
Mhm.
Cyborg Valkyrie, she is a trans Valkyrie in the war campaign, great supporter and a great memer when she has the time. She says, "I rip arms off and beat dudes with their own appendages. Then I slap them with the slap on across the face." And she says, "Strap on. Autocorrect is dumb. Like I haven't said strap on 840,000 times at this point."
So you have to teach your innocent phones the ways of the Phantom Menace.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, dude!
Yeah.
When I'm being silly on the internet, and it autocorrects. I'm like, why would you autocorrect to that? What the hell, you know? Uh,
Oh,
yeah, what were you
it
gonna say,
won't
Mark?
like it autocorrects the F word like to like whatever when I'm like dictating it or typing it. But
Dictating.
when I don't say it, it shows up in the text.
Well,
Because I
I
was
think
What
we
does it
all
texting my
know
autocorrect
mom
to?
one time.
we all know Mother Duckers, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I was texting my mom one time because I had to buy a gift for this family whose like sons were like celebrating their birthday. So I'm like, okay, they want this, and I'm like describing the toys that Walmart had, and I said clock, and it changed it to fuck. I'm like, what the?
What?
Oh
Like,
wow,
yeah. I'm like, luckily I read the text before I sent it.
damn!
But like when
It's
I
for a
say
fuck.
it, yeah, but when I say it, it'll autocorrect it to ducking.
It's
No, it's not what I
Wow.
meant.
it's for a fuck somewhere, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what is up with my phone. I don't know what's up with my phone.
Wow. I don't know. Technology is supposed to be getting better, not worse.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, a few things. Hail Stevie J reviews. If y'all haven't, go sub to Stevie J reviews. Actually, I'm going to give you a wrench, buddy. I really love your channel. Really dig what you do. Love that you don't just keep your nose in bullshit news that's forgotten the next day because there's something new to be triggered about. You do stuff because you like it. And so I like your channel for that. You deserve a wrench. You're now modding, as well as Cyborg Valkyrie. I think you're first war campaigner. Long overdue to get a wrench.
Welcome to the circle,
Yeah.
buddies.
And
Yeah,
cyborg
welcome
is like, what the fuck?
to
We jerk
the
well here.
circle jerk.
Welcome to the circle jerk.
Yeah.
I'm just going to look
Handle.
over there.
Handle the wrenches well. Winky face. So we'll start crazy news. Get everyone's take. Start with Mara, of course. We'll start with you every time. Hey, Big Will. Saying hi to the chat. 501st shit. I know you got involved recently, yesterday or the day before, with our buddy Prince, favorite fan of the Fandom Menace. Just get your take, get your rundown. People may not be aware of like what's been going on lately. This last 4 or 5 days. Sunday's when this first happened. No, it's midweek. So let's get your take. What all you know, what you've been doing in the Twatterverse and everything.
I mean, like just like general rundown of like.
Yeah.
I'm
Let's
sorry,
get
like
your
what
take. Yeah.
first happened.
Yeah.
Mars
Just
Mayhem.
If it's all like what happened with the 501st, I just like jumped in because she was complaining that Steve on Twitter like did that Phantom Menace logo, and she's saying that he copied the logo or he stole it. Well, no, he didn't. You're basically a cosplayer group that does charity. You're not a charity group, so you don't have any basically legal standing in that regard. You can't really claim anything. Plus, you're affiliated with Disney, so and I'm saying at some point that they could shut us down, and I said, well, wait a minute, you're supposed to be a charity group, right? So how does Disney have that power? It just shows you how deep in the pockets you are with this organization, with the Disney side of everything. She never responded to my texts. I would like point out stuff to her, and she never did. But she went after Geeks and Gamers and everybody else. So, but and I went after another guy who claimed that he could prove that Steve traced it. Did you see that tweet?
I
He
did.
tried to prove it.
Yeah. So I basically
You could.
yeah, I took his tweet
Well,
and just retweeted it and said except he didn't.
it's funny because even his video that he put together proved that they were completely different. Because Steve designed it so it's leaning back. It's not even like upright like the 501st Stormtrooper.
Yeah, I know, and
it's just.
And I pointed out that we're not affiliated with you. If we were trying to pass ourselves off as members of the 501st with this logo, then it would be an infringement.
Ooh,
but we're not.
Oh my God, yeah. This is what I want to talk about. I was talking to my buddy Rookie Critic. Me and him chat, yeah, just like me and Immortal and Snow and Steve. Well, I haven't given Steven my number. I don't know why. I keep meaning to in our one chat. Remind me about that.
I'm afraid you're going to send me dick pics.
Well, I do that already, so. But no, seriously, I was talking to him and I got this idea because when I first tweeted this lady was, better stop it now or I'm going to make the 502nd. And I was thinking about it today, and it's like, you know what? I'm actually, it's not going to be a real organization. It'll be like Work Campaign. We LARP on the internet. It'll be, something just a complete troll job. I want to make the 502nd. And I didn't realize this because I played Battlefront 2, the original, and the plot is the 501st. I thought it was Vader's first, like Marines or something. That was my thought. But it's Fist, which is really funny.
That's
really
the
funny.
501st originally was Skywalker's, detachment, and then after Vader,
Yeah.
No, it's funny because it's Fist, and we got Cyber Valkyrie in here.
Vader's Fist,
fisting. So yeah, it never dawned on me like, oh, it's Fist, not First. I think First is better. But to parody it, I'm thinking, because they're all like, oh, we don't need a white bigot straight males and blah blah. And we the 502nd, and to kind of rhyme with the second, like 501st, Vader's Fist. 502nd will be Vader's cis. It's going to be a cisgender army of LARPers for Star Wars. I just want to get y'all's take on this. Would you like to join? You get precedent if you voted for Trump. If you can prove you support Trump, then you're automatically a lieutenant in our ranks.
Comic Book Bob just had a cool idea for you in the chat.
105th. I don't know. I really want to push the cisgender army. We'll call us cis, and we'll just spin it. Like, yeah, totally cisgender, buddy. High five.
Every time you say cis, I keep thinking of the word cyst.
Yeah, well, no, I was trying to rhyme actually, and that's where I got cis.
Yeah,
like
right the body
boiled
cyst.
But yeah, I was gonna get y'all's take on what y'all thought of that. If you'd like to join the ranks and be a troll army on the internet.
Oh, I'm already trolling them, so it'd be just a perfect fit for me.
Yeah, and you know what? We could donate. We could donate to charity and never cosplay. Because we don't need to be charitable.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and calling an idiot it's not really trolling. It's just calling them out for their bullshit. Which, yeah, I mean, we know who's watching us right now.
Well, it's interesting because I always thought that they were a really cool group because they go around and do all this charity stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started hearing about all this, all the backstory and the intrigues. And Ray Park, he actually had to leave the 501st because of some drama that they cooked up.
Yeah.
And what was it? The guy that did the voice?
Boba Fett. He played Boba Fett in the movie.
Oh, Tamara Morrison?
No, I'm thinking about the other guy.
The Daniel Logan or something. Yeah, they basically ran him out of the 501st as well. So, because he
there was another one though that talked about it. Oh, he did the voice for Darth Maul in the animated series.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh, Sam Wentworth.
yeah, he's. I think
Oh,
I think
okay.
he was also in the 501st, and he left because of all their insanity. And both he and Ray were just like,
Yeah.
wow, really,
Insanity.
so
Yeah.
Insanity.
yeah.
I mean, coming out of. I can't see how insanity comes out of a group. His lieutenant gets on Facebook not even 12 hours after that symbol. I mean, that's so Stephen Waynard had that. I think better part of the week leading up to the video that Jeremy Griggs allowed me to do with him on Geeks and Gamers, and it was like not even 12 hours later. All of a sudden this chick's on Facebook, and she says, and I quote, "501st members, we need to react quickly. YouTube's Disney hater movement, Fandom Menace, has hijacked our logo and started making products with it. Fandom Menace should not be underestimated. They have a combined fan base of hundreds of thousands of Star Wars fans. And we're taking potentially tens of thousands of people buying clothing with our well-known logo, twisting to publicly and vocally fight Lucasfilm and Disney, promoting that logo at Disney's events like Star Wars Celebration. Please go to Twitter. My username is such and such. Retweet. Please comment, contact the YouTubers who I have tagged there. I don't think that they are even aware this artist has ripped off our logo. This starts a whole fucking hate mob on Facebook with her group. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that sounds to me like targeted harassment. So
Yeah.
this person gathered up a group of people, whipped them up with, I mean, what she's stating aren't even facts. It's just misinformation.
Conjecture.
Yeah, conjecture and
Yeah.
misinformation. Then goes about posting on Twitter, tagging these people in it, and then organizing this hate mob and trying to get them on there, and it didn't work because the fandom
Yeah.
menace showed up. See, what these woke people don't understand is that we smell bullshit coming from a mile away. We've been dealing with SJWs and all their shit for the last 2 years. We know it. So before they even had a chance to scrub any of these tweets or any of these Facebook posts, our archivists and the Fandom Menace already had this shit screenshotted. We already know what's going on. And every time I see somebody complaining about this on the internet, they seem to leave out the part where this chick got a hate mob together and came at the Fandom Menace. Now,
Yeah.
apparently she has heart arrhythmia and she's in the hospital over all this. Well, I mean, look, if you
Yeah.
if you stir up a hornet's nest and then that stresses you out because now you've got your own people. Who knows? I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'm sure the legal teams over there were like, "Oh, you got to calm it down a little bit." And another thing, damn well people like Ryan Johnson, Pablo Hidalgo. There are Lucasfilm employees who watch Geeks and Gamers. They know this book is coming. So if they've got people in the 501st that are working on the Mandalorian and things like that, there's talking going on. There's got to be email chains or DM groups going on, over there. Who's to say that one of them didn't just ask for a little trouble to get stirred up using a quote unquote charity organization to cudgel and come at the Fandom Menace so that anybody who doesn't mind dismissing a few facts about what's going on will cry about how the Fandom Menace is attacking this charity organization. It was unprovoked. They're so wrong. Look how wicked they are. But let's leave out the fact that these people started this whole issue. This would not be a thing if this person did not go on Facebook, create a hate mob, say, I'm going here, I'm tagging these people, harass these YouTubers, and harass this movement. None of this, we wouldn't even be talking about this right now.
Well,
Yeah.
you're better researched at that, Steven, but that's a very typical SJW attack tactic.
Mm-hmm. And we see it
EDS
coming a
went
mile
through
away.
that.
Immortal,
Yeah.
Immortal.
Yeah.
I actually want to,
Yeah.
because you follow the comic skate with me.
Yes, I
I
do.
would assume best in this chat at the moment. So you can, if you could follow up and help plug any. No, I won't say that.
Fill a void
If,
in Angus's life.
if you
Yeah.
spot any missing points that I forget to cover. But we had this, and I talked about this in my video before I knew this was targeted, before I saw the screens from Facebook. I
Yeah.
said this is like War Campaign and Edwin Boyette, where it's like he's rallying. There's this whole rally of Kangaroo Court of the bigs in this fandom. And it's like, these little people are a problem. You gotta stop them, cut them out. And it's like one, they're shaming the little guy to silence themselves. They don't, so then they hammer him down, and in a way appeal to the big channels that are like, everyone's following, and also
Sure.
uh, press them to get rid of or distance themselves. And that's what this whole thing was with tagging purposely. Jeremy,
Yeah.
it wasn't just Jeremy, it was like Anna Nerdrotics, geeksandgamers.com. And she was trying to rally big channels and make them seem like, hey, and I'm surprised we haven't seen them cover this, honestly, because there'll be someone with like 10 followers on Twitter, and they keep hitting, and Jeremy catches it finally when he has
Yeah.
time, and he hits at him. He's like, I don't care how big or small you are, you keep hitting me, I'll hit you back. And yet, this clear SJW tactic has not been covered by anyone in the fandom. Sorry, myself and Steven at this point. Of course, the Soy Boys have covered it because they want to
Eh.
use like the women. You attacked a
I
woman.
swear
She's
to
in the
God.
hospital.
And them haters are gonna hate watch you and listen to this right now. And I'm telling y'all haters right now, if you
Thanks
keep
for
up
the
this
view time.
stupid. Well, thanks for your time. And if you keep up this stupid shit, you're gonna make it into my book. I'm trying not to talk about the 501st in any kind of bad way, but if y'all keep this shit up, it's going in volume 4.
And don't
I'm
forget
gonna
to
call
like.
you out. Yeah, I'm gonna
Don't
call
forget
you
to
out.
like the video.
Well, before you
Even if
take,
you get a thumbs down, it's good for the algorithm. So go ahead and
before
dislike it.
before we
Leave us a
continue,
comment and tell us how much of a bigot assholes we are. Go ahead.
but yeah,
I love.
before I turn it to you, Mortal, with kind of the comic skate analogy awareness. Um, we'll get into this in a moment too with the Spider-Man thing. All right. So if you don't know, we'll go more in detail. But data racers, gathered retweets and stuff that are very informative, showing a mass copycat tweeting regime or what have you, militia on Twitter. About the Spider-Man thing, saying like we're gonna boycott and this and that. Um, so you're seeing that where it's like not even a day is gone, and this is out in the public that the Sony Marvel deal's done. It's going back to Sony with Spider-Man. There's a bot army, surprise, surprise, from Disney trying to uh, crap on Sony.
What?
So
What? But we're the bots.
Yeah.
No, we're the bots. They can't take that.
yeah, well,
We're the bots.
yeah. It's funny. So this happens in a day. Who's to say that this wasn't rigged? Disney is in with these people. I called this out from the beginning. I'm like, this doesn't sound like they keep saying we're a charity. And it's like, no, you're cosplayers who happen to do some charity. Your whole shtick is wearing costumes and LARPing as Star Wars people. You happen to go to hospitals. That's nice. I'm not demonizing that, but it doesn't, make you immune from a meme, which is what Steven's thing ultimately is. Who's to say? Because she ends up, I think, on accident saying like, well, we can't have Disney think we're associated with like their opposition, and it's like access. This is what this is about because apparently I haven't confirmed this, but apparently 501st have been cosplaying as extras in Star Wars since at least Episode 3, if not 2, and are in the Mandalorian, if not more stuff with Disney. So this is an access thing. They don't get paid, but it's could be a layup going forward for future endeavors. Or you get access to Disney, you might meet the right person. Who knows where you can go? So
Yeah.
this is before I saw the screens where it was a targeted thing against Steven. They shut down, last I heard, they shut down his Teespring, at least temporarily, with mass flagging. So, this is...
That's targeted harassment, and
Yeah.
that's targeted harassment
Yeah.
that can be proven from that initial post. If these people want to push it, legal action could take place.
Yeah, I'm not saying because I can't confirm it, but I mean, we're seeing these bots from Disney for Spider-Man in one day. Who's to say the thorn in their side with all this coverage about how much Star Wars is dead, the media is starting to cave and actually tell the news about how Galaxy's Edge is a flop. Disney's fucking up. They spent too much on Fox. Who's to say they're not trying to save face or, take the legs out from their opposition by using a charity as a punching bag, as a meat shield. Immortal, you follow up, and then
really
we'll go back to.
put past Disney. I wouldn't put past Disney to do that. At this
No.
point. I mean, they're I mean, at one point maybe they were run by decent people, but now it's just I don't trust anything coming from that organization. As
That's what I've heard numerous times. They started out really, really good people for a good cause, and then it just went downhill. It got infiltrated by a bunch of idiots.
Yeah. So
Well, and that's definitely the observation here to draw the parallel that Angus was talking about between Comics Gate and what's going on here. It all boils down to fear. They're afraid of voices that don't match their pre-convoluted idea of what the world should be.
Mhm.
And there is a definite social engineering element to it, which if you go back and watch the interview that Steve gave with Jeremy, that forward that your co-author read very succinctly distilled what I believe the problem to be. So when you have strong creators with morally opposite ideas of yours, that's when we started to see targeted uh, campaigns against EVS. They doxed him, they threatened his family, his wife. We saw that happen with Tug not too long ago. Uh, and then to bring it back home, so like Ethan's like, fuck this, I'm gonna go off and do my own thing. So now he's a threat. He's not following their media narrative. And not only
Their
that, but
agenda.
yeah, and not only that, but he's creating content that's number one entertaining and harkens back to what we as humans have been motivated to respond to since the beginning of storytelling. Um, but now, and especially after he raised like damn near $1 million to do Cyberfrog, they start picking at him, and they can't do it because there's very few chinks in his armor. Now, the one weakness I would say he has is that he doesn't always fully vet the people he surrounds himself with. So then you get the instances where like the Mark S. Millers and the Edwin Boyettes, they can come out and influence him to think certain ways because they're having negative associations with other people. But you think about it, it's almost the same thing. There's like this fear thing and there's a sycophantic thing, and you're trying to use positions of influence to farm the minds of the audience when really we should all be freedom of choice, So all that shit with War Campaign went down. It was a smear job from the start because of what religious idealistic differences. And luckily he came around and saw the light. I'm not sure about the state of his relationship with his friends. That's really none of my business. That's between them. But they showed themselves publicly. So even though like we're quote unquote smaller channels, I mean, some of you guys have gotten some major traction and gotten noticed by, bigger people. They're trying to nip us in the bud while we're not nearly as large of a threat. But I think because we're lower to the ground, we're hungrier. So we're going to be able to tell more of the truth without damaging our alliances, both, publicly and privately. So here we find ourselves. And it's funny because for our wave, what are we, the third wave, Steve? Is that how you're identifying it?
Oh yeah, third wave. Yeah.
Yes. So for the third wave, this is like really our first taste of the vitriol. And I think we responded in an appropriate way, and like you said, we've had 2 years to think about all this and think about what motivates the people, what kind of mental illness they have, and what they would like us, how they would like us to behave, but what actually works with them. And that's where the shit blew up in their face. So there's more interesting footnotes to touch on as we get on in the discussion, but that's basically how this situation relates to comics, dude.
Well said, Immortal. Well said.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Oh, okay. I guess
Intermission.
that's it. All right, fuck off,
Yeah,
everybody.
get off
Talk
get
to you
off
later.
the X hamster, buddy.
Oh shit. No, I was actually reading the chat. Edward Marlos has been saying a lot, so I'm like just trying to make sure I'm reading it right.
Well, while you're reading that, I'd like to say today I found out Mara didn't realize that she should be a dominatrix. I think she comes off she comes off very mean, especially was watching her on a stream on Mary's channel, and her internet wasn't working, and she was getting really upset. She was getting so pissed, and so I commented to her. I said, you get so mean, it's almost erotic, and you would make a great dom. And another thing I learned this week was that if you're in a private chat with Angus, not Black Angus, Bangus, they're two different people. Angus, Black Angus, you can talk to, and he can get funny, he can get serious, he can talk about anything, but when Bangus shows up, that's when you get dick thrown in your face. All right, and that's when you get memes with like lots of dicks thrown in your face, and then when you complain about it, he calls you gay. All right. You may
uh,
continue, Bangers.
he's not he's not wrong. And I was thinking because I'm trying to because people don't know this, but I'm working on a couple comic ideas for Comicscape projects. I've talked about extensively with Red Gaze and Mandy on her stream on here. Hashtag Methgator. Essentially, think of like Hulk and Venom crossed with Breaking Bad. You get Methgator. Um, and I also got one Black Angus, but I was, Steven, the way he put this, because I've been called Bangus by like Flipped Out for a while as a joke, but Steven kind of put in perspective like this kind of Jekyll and Hyde, like this. I don't know if you ever watch Big Mouth on Netflix, but the hormone monster. I think you could if you did like a Jekyll and Hyde with the hormone monster. That could be Bangus. Like, this could be a fun story where it's like, I just, it's like, oh fuck, I can't control it. I'm horny, and like, haha, dick pics, fuck you. So maybe me and Steven, while he's in between these Fandom Menace volumes, maybe we'll create Bangus, a Fandom
Yeah,
Menace
I'll work with
comic.
you, buddy. I love your sense of humor, man. I do. This comes out of nowhere, but we're just having a decent conversation in the
Oh
chat.
my god,
And
yeah.
boom!
Today,
Oh my god!
it was so funny. I showed my wife, and she's like, "Oh my god!" I never show her like the check. She didn't give a fuck, but I showed her that, and I showed all your all's comments like, "And away."
Yeah. I spelled out each individual word in capitals. Fuck you. Now go up and away.
Oh, I died. I was. Oh, it was. This is why I'm on the internet. I'm here for the lols. I guess before we switch over, I want to address. It's been fun. I did a kind of a response laughter at Prince. For Urban Acolyte, this guy that I used to follow off
Oh
and
boy.
on with speculation after Force Awakens. He was the channel that always pop up in my feed. This is before Phantom Mist, before I found any channels to follow. I didn't start following like Stuckman or Johns until probably 6 months before Last Jedi happened. I'd see him off and on, but I didn't follow YouTubers. So for me to follow someone back then was like, holy shit, I'm really devoting my time. So I'd see Prince, he do like great stuff for like who are the Knights of Ren, and this and that, and some deep shit about EU or just lore, deeper lore to tie into the films and speculate. And it's not that he picked the Last Jedi. Uh, it's his saltiness, and his fucking vitriol to his own fans and stuff. Where it's like you see his view count. I think it's pretty clear. The Fandom Menace was his big chunk of subscribers, and now for him to have nothing to talk about, if Star Wars is just movies and he likes Star Wars and whatever. Why is he talking about Rise of Skywalker instead of little old me? It's like, yeah, I got a case, so people think I'm monetized, which
Oh,
I'm still
I thought
not.
we were talking about
Mhm.
Bollywood. Sorry.
But but no, he sees me, and then to get more clicks, he has to put Jeremy's face in the thumbnail to try to get more attention. And which I'm like,
Yep.
cool, fucking, if you can put more implant in people's heads, Jeremy, Black Angus, fuck, give me more clicks, give me more subs. I'll help everyone out that I can with my platform. Like, awesome, dude, it helps everyone. Thanks for the layup, dumbass. It's just like Trump. It's just like confiscation, it's just like Thanos. If you just shut up about us, less people will know about us. But when you talk about us, people are like, wait a minute, at least 10% are like, wait, what's this meme? What's this image? What are they talking about? Who is this that they're referencing? They look into it and they become fans. So whatever, and it's just I never expected that, so it's funny. Kirkman, this little channel. I'm not saying that disingenuously. This little channel,
Oh
he
my
does. He
god.
just does
He
passionate.
literally has like 11 subscribers, man.
Yeah, he did I would say a very much better video. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I hit the like button, even though it's like fuck you, fascist Angus. He's ringing the whole time. It was great because he actually exposed his fans to my content and was giving commentary about it. And that's what you should do. You should either do the research and summarize or just show it and commentate on it like EFAP. So I appreciate that, even though you're, at least a fandom enemy, probably political enemy, since you think I'm a fascist, because I think, identity politics don't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate the honesty to actually show my stuff. So hey, hit me up on Twitter. We can have a talk, Kirkman, if you're hate watching at the moment or in the future you're hate watching. Um, but it's funny, the derangement of some of these little sycophants like B level. Like I was saying earlier, I just like to. He doesn't understand the tone I'm talking to. I'm talking to him in Comic Skate Gay, but I call him little boy just as a joke to like neg on him, and then later on I'm talking back hole talk and how I want to glaze his donut hole. And he thinks, oh, he called me little boy. He's a pedophile, and it's like they're so literal. They're so literal, and like these people are like, "You're gonna make more memes on the 501st. This causes harm." He's like a literal Edwin Boyette. It was great. It's great.
Well, and what really struck me was so Urban Acolyte is an established channel. I used to watch him myself, so he has a little bit more reach when criticizing you, but this fucking Captain Kirk guy, he like showed up out of nowhere, and his first video practically is him splicing up old Star Trek and then shit talking my buddy Angus. So, but that Urban Acolyte thing, that fucking pissed me off, man. I'll go into it, but go ahead, Steve.
Oh no, I was gonna say when you come at Angus, you better bring your game because he comes back at you with the long stroke.
Yeah, I come. That's the main thing you should take away. Regardless if I win or lose, I'm going to come.
All over your back.
Yeah.
So
wait, really quick more. Let me address the chat.
Yeah.
We got Star Wars for Life. Ruth has popped up. Hey Ruth, we got to schedule a stream soon. She says, Angus, I want to see your guests, not your porn. And then right after, Ryan Mag says, Hill War Campaign. Correct. Cyborg says, we call you Anus. Yeah. They hate us because they anus. Ryan Mag says, I'm not comics gay. I'm comics gay. That's correct. I concur. Matt Hayes of comics hashtag Comics Invictus says, Rainbow Dongs for everyone. Let's see, who's Stuckman? Been hearing his name a lot. Oh, Stuckman's just a huge movie reviewer. He does a pretty good reviews. He's got a pretty good format. So if you're gonna build up from that format of YouTubing, I would say he's a good reference to kind of judge yourself off of, like presentation, stylizing, formatting yourself. So you got the Biden touch in here. Me tooing the whole chat at the moment. He says, Black Angus, my account is itself meme violence. Yeah, watch out, people. Memes can kill. Memes can send you to the hospital. And that's the thing too. People are. Oh my god.
Could.
We got snow. That's the thing too. These people are like, you sent a woman to the hospital. It's like
she sent herself to the hospital
for a meme. It's like if you got that much of a problem where you get so triggered and your heart gets so worked up because of a meme, or because people hit back at you for your hate mob that you started, just log out. Just go take a walk.
Yeah.
Just
what seems to be the problem is something in my smartphone got in my head, and now I need a prescription.
Oh. Do you
Angus,
the
heart palpitations.
What was that, Mar?
Like she's like making it seem like she was in her tweet she was the target, and all these responses like, oh, we're so sorry you had to go through that. We're things like that. Bitch, you started it. So
my sister Megs. Hey everybody. Snowdub in the house.
Hail Snowdub.
What's up, guys? My sister Megs she worked in the medical profession, and she's seen what the post was, and she says that's the medical term for a panic attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had a girlfriend in high school who had a heart flutter or whatever, and all it is like if you bang too hard, it kind of shocks the system more so than it normally would, or you might get a little fainty when you work out. So it's not a big deal. They're like, she had a heart attack. Oh my god, and they wonder why I laugh at them.
Well, I got big news, guys. I'm like an hour and a half away from getting out of Twitter jail.
Ooh.
Can you
I
will have a
inform us?
drink on your behalf.
Can you inform us about what transpired, and also I'm not sure if you streamed there before, but if you be so kind to tip your hat to the lady in the room in the chat, Mara Jade, dress her ladyship accordingly.
I love Mara Jade. She is my main BITC. Oh, I won't go there.
She's a trained assassin, man. Seriously,
yeah, she
lives up to her name.
Yeah, much love to the chat.
I would actually love to. I'm sorry. Go ahead, buddy.
Oh, I'll shut up. Well,
Oh no,
go
you
ahead.
have to shut up. I wanted to honor you. I wanted to say, since the godfather of the gender check was here, if we could have an impromptu gender check for that lieutenant in the 501st. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose from three genders from the list of certified genders. These are the official genders of the far left. These are recognized genders. We can use
Oh,
this
God.
speak. It is you can have it on Twitter and on YouTube and Facebook and everything. And I'm going to choose.
Is
I'm
attack
going
helicopter one of them?
Okay. I do not know. I do not know. But I'm going to choose from the list of genders that are under the letter C for cannot understand normal thinking. And we are going to, I'm going to pick one of the three, and then everyone has to vote on which one of those three they think that this panic attacks woman, what kind of gender she is. All right. So, all right. The first one, let's see. The first one's going to be, this one kind of makes sense. It's called karma gender, and it's a gender which is poetic and rhythmic in nature. A gender which is poetic and rhythmic in nature. That's number one. All right. The second gender is a caste gender. It is feeling as if the very concept of gender is unimportant to you. All right. And
God.
the third one is called a cavia gender, having a trapped or imprisoned gender. Okay. So the chat, if you could press one for with when you're what was it? Oh, the feeling, the very concept of gender is unimportant to you. Two will be having a trapped or imprisoned gender, and three will be a gender that is poetic and rhythmic in nature. Angus, tell me how the vote went.
Fuck, that's too many genders to keep up with, dude.
Really, that's only
we
three
got
genders.
we got a vote already.
That's great.
Matt Hayes. There's we got
Darth
Matt
Yanks.
just changed his answer.
Darth
okay.
Yanks says, "Is schman a gender?"
Man,
I'm not sure, but we have to choose from this list of three genders.
Oh my
I
god!
don't know.
Oh my
That
god!
first one
Schman,
sounds like a
baby.
rap
Wait, wait,
star.
wait, wait, wait. Speaking of schmam, so
Shmam.
you know how Kermit says shim sometimes, um, and it's like ha 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 because it's like she him, shim. Well, I'm working I'm going to plumber school and stuff, and working every day, and I'm like,
Laying that
oh,
pipe.
I'm like,
Laying the
what?
pipe.
I'm like, what's that thing? He's sticking something under the toilet to like level it. He's like, oh, it's a shim, and I'm just like, I had to leave.
Okay, I think I got the answer. It's
Okay.
D. All of the above.
All of the above.
Why are you discriminating, my guy?
Well, it seems like there wasn't that many votes, but the winner is the cavia gender. So she is a cavia gender, having a trapped or imprisoned gender.
Yeah, she sounds trapped.
Gender check.
Hashtag gender check.
Fuck yeah.
It's funny, Snow, regarding the gender check. So a while ago, I was reading X-23, the first two series of the first big volume of her stories from I think Yost or Kyle Yost, whatever. Um, and I thought of this joke in regards to because Ricky was like, yeah, I was checking up on him rewriting his version of Force Awakens, what he would do and stuff. This is supposed to be a big project he's supposed to complete this year. That's been just delayed. And he's trying to figure out how should I go about it? What should I do? How should I write Rey to make her interesting or make her not just totally destroy what was presented on film? And I'm like, ooh, we could kind of do this clone thing like X-23, etc. And I got this idea. I don't know how it tied in exactly, but it was like a gender check because this is when Captain Marvel news was big, and I was thinking that she's a feminazi. We could have this deal where we go to. I use my wife's card for say to go to the gym, and it's assigned female on the card, but I sneak in with the card and they detect my Y chromosome. And all of a sudden you have fucking Captain Marvel and her little army Y chromosome detected, get out of here, and just that was the initial idea. So it's funny that intrinsically this gender check has been going around in my head for a while, kind of in the background. And then you helped flesh it out and make it, you put a label on it. And I appreciate that, Snow.
I do what I can.
It's funny.
I do what I can.
The pronoun Y suddenly it sounds sexist. I don't know why.
I don't know why.
Why?
Y chromosome.
Yeah.
I'm surprised
Why
no
does
one's
Bangus
jumped on
post
that
dicks
yet.
in a private chat? That's what I want to know. Why does Bangus have to post dicks in a chat that I'm involved in? Snow,
I
can you
have
answer that? You know
skills.
him longer. Why does he do that to us?
That's
They're
why I was
fake.
late, because I was still throwing up from that.
Wait. Were you throwing
Throwing
up?
up
Were you
or
throwing up?
snowing up?
Were you throwing up because you're so embarrassed that a lady had a bigger dong than you?
I
Were
was
you
Damn.
throwing up
sickened?
because I am so extremely heterosexual, and you fucking things. So every time you put one of that shit up, man, it makes me cringe so bad. Stomach flips nuts.
And then Meg saw it. I was like, "Hey, Meg, at least you got to see 2 dicks today, right?"
My fucking sister, my baby sister, has to see this shit.
Do not start virtue signaling, Snow.
God damn it!
Yeah, just expect if you're going to communicate with Angus, he will take your innocence
I
Yeah.
without
want
mercy.
Non-consensual.
Oh my god! I just scrolling through Child War Campaign and I see a meme of Ro head on a body spanking a woman over his leg, and it says command structure must be upheld. Yeah, I'm just trying to bring that fun gayness to the fandom menace. I feel Comicsgate has a focused ideal that they have a mission statement. It's very focused, very specific, and it's easily achievable, or at least easy to to stay on course. The Phantom Menace is like, we hate the Last Jedi, we don't want identity politics, and it's like, but what are we bringing? There's not
Well,
that
and that's what's
focus.
weird because the Fandom
That's-
Menace is possibly the most inclusive organization. I mean, it's not even really an organization. It's more like,
Right.
you want to be Phantom Menace? Call yourself Phantom Menace. Fine.
Yeah.
But we're composed of people who are of color, of very many different sexual orientations and practices, religious faiths. It doesn't fucking matter. And the heart of the matter to me is that the elite or whatever are trying to control the perception of what the Phantom Menace is in the mind of the audience and portray us as something that we're not. And that's exactly as illustrated. People will talk shit about Angus in their YouTube videos, not knowing that he's a black bi man.
right.
Yeah, I'm waiting
pin
to
us
see
in a
them.
corner.
I'm waiting to see these weirdos that are like, coming at me. It's like, well, I got, double oppression points. So, I'm
Right.
gonna keep hitting because
Mhm.
All the
you're
traditional
attacking.
arguments will fail
You're
if you're
attacking.
trying to apply those to
They care about
Yeah.
minorities so
So-
much. So why are you
Well,
harassing a black?
and it gets to
And
the-
he's and he's part Native American, so I mean, like that's triple.
Oh, wow.
For real.
Yeah.
Well,
about
and then
credentials.
it gets to the point they know they have nothing that they can hold him to as far as traditional pegging holes. So what do? They call his chin a nut sack and his beard like
And that dude was defending
pubic
soy.
hair.
He was
That's-
like, and soy makes you more of a man. I'm like, oh, dude, you just lost everything.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Prince fucking he really pissed me off because he was going on for 30 minutes about how he didn't give a fuck. He said that like 20 times. And it's like,
Took
but
him
you don't
30
give a
minutes to
fuck.
get that out.
You don't give a fuck so much you're gonna waste more than half an hour.
Wait, did you finish that whole video, Immortal? Because I made it 12 minutes.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
did
I
it
did
Damn.
it because it led me to realize that he watched your. So okay, for those of you who don't know, Angus did a commentary video on this whole like 501st chat thing because it blew up. And at first, like the girl was like, excuse me, will you please take this down because it's for the kids and it's blah blah blah. And then somebody came back with the
kids.
yeah,
Think of the
somebody
children.
came back with the definition of parody, which I thought was perfect. It's like, okay, this
That was
isn't
Steve.
we're not ripping you off. We are using your thing in a entertainment capacity to, satire and all that kind of shit. I put like a little disclaimer at the end of every video because I use copyrighted content and I comment on it. That's what entertainer commenters do, op-ed pieces. That's what they do. And then this guy has made it clear that he doesn't want to watch the video. I left a big comment on his page, and I was like, I'm Fandom Menace. Angus didn't ask me to come and do this. I just did this because you're talking about my friend, so here it is. I cited the forward that your co-author, Stephen, read out loud on Geeks and Gamers, and I said we're not about just hating Star Wars. We're about pointing out the hypocrisy and the social engineering elements.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe instead of talking about us, you should talk to us, because you're going public and you're going to make a bunch of like people upset. You're going to kick a fucking hornet's nest and get stung in the ass. And then he went on.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I'm sorry. He went on a soapbox and he started like beating his chest and talking about how much Chuan Fa he's practiced and trying to like come off holier than thou, but then saying
What's
he's
he
not
practiced?
scared. He's practiced Wing Chun Kung Fu, but Chuan Fa just means fist. You know, Chuan is the fist and Fa is.
So
got a
he's
fist
been
for you.
practicing fisting. Is that what you're saying?
Real good at fisting.
I think what he was saying is that he's not afraid of Angus, and he wouldn't mind fisting him.
Angus
But,
might enjoy that. Like,
But
I'm
if
telling
you-
you, he's got a thing for Angus.
If you
He
look
wants
at
to
it from a
switch.
reverse, if you look at it from a reverse psychology thing, it's almost like he's intimidated by what Angus had to say.
Well, yeah.
Because as soon as I replied to him, I was like, look, if you doubt this man's sincerity, DM him and watch Steven's interview, and you'll get what the Fandom Menace is all about, instead of
Yeah.
listening to these crying victims.
But that's going to
And-
give him facts. He doesn't
It
want
will.
facts.
And he totally put on the horse blinders and sent me a reply, and he was like, yeah, I'm not interested in that. Sorry, bruh. And I
After
sent him
spending
something
30
back
minutes of chatting about it.
of hot air. And I sent him a chat back, and I was like, okay, look, I tried once to fucking be a human about this. You said no. So, you know, you're entitled to your opinion. Peace be on your way, and have fun
No,
organizing your chi and all that.
Way
I-
too
May the
nice,
fist
man.
be with you.
no.
May the
That's
fist
more
be
than way
with
too
you.
nice. I went into his comments, destroyed him, and I think
Snow
he's a really
fucking
good guy.
obliterated him. It
Yeah,
was
I think
classic
he's a
good
really
cop,
guy.
bad cop.
I
Yeah.
need to interject real fast just to say I gotta jump off because I gotta wake up at like 4:30.
Oh, okay.
But
Oh, but you were our strong, powerful whammon, Mara.
Wait,
What
so-
the hell?
so what
That
are you
we kept
doing?
quiet in the corner.
Are you getting up early to? Are you getting up early
What?
to like start the day gender checking early, or like what's your plans for the?
I do that after I get my caffeine, pretty much. So like once once I'm awake from that, then the gender checking begins.
Okay.
And I have one that maybe you guys will like for tomorrow. I've been looking for
Oh, yeah.
gifts.
Well, hopefully I could comment this time, Mara.
Yeah.
Avenge me. Bring me a rabbit's foot, would you?
I just wanted to
We
say.
should stay online just long enough to celebrate
tag
Snow's
you.
release from Twitter jail. I would love that.
Yeah,
I'll
Mara, I just
tag
wanted to
you,
say,
and I'll also with the gender check, and I'll say I stand with Jolly underneath it in the post. But like for my 2 cents with Urban Acolyte, I hadn't even heard of him until he decided to try to compare dick sizes with the Fandom Menace.
Mhm.
Like he's
Yeah.
jumping in and attacking the group, and I have no idea who you are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
and-
killed his channel, and he's just salty and saying like, I don't give a fuck. But then he keeps talking
Yeah.
to us all the time, which is funny, And it's like EVS talked yesterday. It's like I love our enemies because they're dumb. It's an easy win. But before you go, I just want to say appreciate the gender checking from the other gender, and also listen to your voice. I'm getting vibes like who is that? Oh yeah.
Oh, here we go. It's gonna get sexual.
Miss Incredible. I get some.
Oh,
of that,
We need a
Oh,
slow
yeah,
beatbox going on, Snow. Can you provide that while Angus is making his?
That's just an
What was that?
observation.
I didn't
I hear Miss Incredible from her voice, and it's
Huh,
I love both films. So it's just enjoyable. It's like it's not like luckily you're not someone who's like fuck your voice just is like nails on a chalkboard. So I appreciate just that aspect. But I'll have to have you on again soon.
Well, thank you. From your compliment, I have a nice voice, and from Steven, I can be a dom. So I'll find a way to make that work.
Well,
Be a
I'm
hot
sure you
dog
can
with sexy
combine
voice.
both ideals for some entertainment.
I'm sure I can make it work. I'll find a way to make money on the side doing that.
All right, take care, Mar.
But,
Love you,
Bye,
Mama.
Mara.
Bye, Mara.
Hope
Love
to hear
you.
from you soon.
But
All you incels saying
And
bye to
I
a
want to.
women.
Sorry, Angus. I wanted to add on Immortal's point just a little bit.
Oh, I bet you
Because I was
would.
on my stream yesterday, I actually mentioned how I was talking about TLJ, Last Jedi, and all that, and how we're pissed off, and I made a great point about saying, I wouldn't care either way, because even though I lean to the right, I am a Trump supporter. I wouldn't want to go see a Star Wars movie that's talking all about the wall or all about Second Amendment or anything like that, any kind of right wing politics. I would hate that just as much. And that's what these stupid people don't get. It ain't about right or left. It's about the story. It's about the entertainment. We go to see these movies to escape.
You have to
take
understand something, Snow, is that these people feel, they believe in their minds that they are oppressed. And that when these movies, no, I'm serious, they actually believe this, that they are oppressed, that they're being held down by the white man. And they're watching
hot.
these movies that are supporting all this.
Shit, I thought
Yeah.
he was orange.
But they see all this stuff on the screen that supports, all this, diversity and shit like that. Things that these people actually believe they're not getting because they've been brainwashed by somebody else with an agenda to screw up our society. And this is what we're dealing with. We're not dealing with rational people,
Ain't that the truth?
Well, and I have
And-
two thoughts about that. So,
Go for it.
number one, I really think, and I don't care what your politics are, but these people, I think, are really banking on a Hillary vote. So all this girl power and all that shit, had it gone the other way, would have been in support of her narrative, right? The heroes and all that kind of shit. But it takes time for Hollywood to cook up movies and get shit approved and get.
You know
money
why
and
she
film
didn't
and all
win?
that kind of stuff. Oh, because she's a.
No.
People ignored the media.
No,
People really didn't want media.
she
Go
didn't
ahead.
win because she was having these little meltdowns at these public appearances. She had 2 or 3 meltdowns where she literally looked like she was going to have an epileptic seizure. That's why
Well, they're
she
keeping
didn't
her
win.
held together by duct tape, and like all the black magic she wants to do ain't gonna help her.
Well,
Yeah.
first off, you
And
had
then she
since
kills
2000
anybody who says boo to her.
Just
Yeah.
real quick, from 2006 on, you had, and I proved this with quotes in the books in the Fandom Menace volumes, that you had people that were trying to use Silicon Valley and entertainment to influence media. So you had a whole lot of people in the rich in the information sphere that were pushing for a Democrat to win, pushing for Hillary to win, and Bernie
So was
Sanders.
Google.
Yeah, and well, yeah, all of them, yeah, and Bernie Sanders really might have won that election if the DNC had allowed him to take the nomination. When
Well,
Hillary cut his
he-
legs out, she destroyed her own campaign because she
Yeah.
alienated a lot of supporters.
But he conceded, and his wife was overheard on the microphone when Bernie was turning around and giving support to Hillary. Is that his wife said, they don't know, your voters don't know that they can still vote for you, and he completely ignored her. So it was him cutting his own legs off more than anything else. But he was conceding to Hillary Clinton. And it's like, she's not the golden goose. She wasn't getting the votes.
Man, but
and
I would have loved to see Bill in the White House again, wearing a robe and a bubble pipe, walking around in slippers, just banging people.
No, you would have seen him in a blue dress and red heels.
For real. Well, then
Dude.
the other prong of that point that I wanted to say was,
Oh, sorry.
no, you're fine. I appreciate the elaboration, and honestly, I think that there needs to be more attention shined on this element, because we can bitch about like, oh, I wish Star Trek was this, or I wish Star Wars is that, or Doctor Who would be this kind of thing. But the reason that they're using that is because they know that there's mass public appeal. So it's the same thing that, not quite the same thing, because like the state messages in Germany were more about the state, but that sense that back in the 60s in America, when all this shit was cutting edge, okay, Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry and DC Fontana and Gene L. Kuhn and all these revolutionary thinkers we're using science fiction as a way to commentate on the negative aspects of human society
Yep.
at that
Yeah.
point. So that's where we see the real push. Where like, yes, we had Lieutenant Uhura, we had Lieutenant Sulu, and we had Chekhov, who was a Russian,
Right.
our enemy. And here's a show saying, look, we evolved past that shit. You can keep your national identity, you can keep your race, you can keep your gender, and
Yeah.
we
The
can all
only
work
thing they were
together.
missing, the only thing they were missing on that bridge was a Bangus.
Was a Bangus of color. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But and that's what's weird. So these SJW weirdos think that we're in that same position today, and they're thinking like, if we could just use Star Trek to do the same thing that it did like back in the day, then guess what? We could have like its mams all over the board, and
Well-
Mikey Spocks, and it just doesn't work because it doesn't resonate as well. Because
Yeah, well,
I don't think society has that sort of negative perception of these gender and racial stereotypes like they might once have. We're like, yeah, it's not a big deal. What you do in your bedroom's your own business. How you choose to dress or how you choose to do
Yeah.
your body is your own thing. We're just not that oppressed, but they want us to think that.
well, it is only the
Well, that
people
was the
that are
cool thing
obsessed.
about Star.
I'm sorry. It is only the
Go
people
ahead.
that are obsessed with identity politics. It is only the people that are obsessed with things like race and gender, and living in this the oppression Olympics and living victimhood. Those are the actual racists and sexists and bigots, and those are the actual people that they're saying that they're fighting. And that's really the working class. I use that term a lot, but it's true. The working class just has no time for bullshit. Many of us just want to work, take care of our kids, and do what we have to do. And most people can see through bullshit, and that's what it is. It's bullshit. Personal point of privilege. He, him. You're full of shit. What you just as soon as you start off, you're full of shit. And that's the thing is, Sonequa Martin Green could have been played a great character. I love Sonequa Martin Green. I love sisters. I love girls of darker shades. And she is a beautiful woman and a good actress. I liked her in The Walking Dead. And she could have played a wonderful character in a great iteration of Star Trek had it not been written by people who are more concerned with identity politics and pushing false narratives and writing terrible science fiction. If she had been put in a well-written show that promoted Gene Roddenberry's true vision of it's not what you are, it's who you are, then it'd be a totally different show right now.
I'd like to go back to something that Black Angus said earlier, though, is when he was talking about when you were talking about the Fandom Menace, Angus, and you made the comparison to Comicsgate. It's like they're creating content. They have something to offer, and then you pose the question. It's like, what is it that we have to offer as the Fandom Menace? And I think that the failure of the new Star Trek and the failure of the new Star Wars that we're seeing from Disney, I think this can act as a springboard for people who identify with the label Phantom Menace, can turn around and start to think of new creative ventures for science fiction, to come up with ideas, to come up with stories, to come up with artwork that will, it will kind of leave Star Wars and Star Trek behind because they've kind of like fallen off the table. And so those of us who are left behind, who were inspired by those stories, the real stories, we could bring something to the table to replace, the fallen sagas that we grew up on. I'm done.
Oh.
Well, and that's a good point. I think that's why guys like Star Wars Theory and the Axonar guys are getting more traction about their own fan fictions.
Right.
The actual movie studios who have billions of dollars at their disposal are getting.
Yeah, and that's how Star Trek started. They had like a very small budget compared to what the new Star Treks have.
And less JJ.
Less JJ. And I'd like to also point out that every time any kind of word that has any form of sexual connotation, Angus snickers. So go ahead.
Nice.
No.
Yeah, I can hear them in the background.
I'm
You don't
snickering
want to
for
know what's going on in the
something
background.
totally
You don't want to know what's
unrelated.
going on in the background.
It's my snickering is totally unrelated to really anything you said. You're saying good stuff. Yeah, I've worked with Ricky Critic. He's appreciative of what I've tried to do. Trying to fund and bring a comic skate type of creativity to the Fandom Menace. You see it like sort of with even though he's not Phantom Menace, you see it. You definitely get the tone from like Star Wars Theory from Fix It and Post. Why are these fan films blowing up so much if we were satisfied with Disney stars? Because if it was like, oh, I like it on top of, it's like it's doing good just like Disney. It's like it wouldn't get seen as much because people are already satisfied. Only the hardcore people would like frequent it and see it. So I don't know. I'm waiting to see like what we do, but it's harder to do
Well, I
film.
also, and sorry to cut you off, Angus, I also think that it's more that these original channels doing their fanfics are giving us as fans what we want to see more than that Disney would be capable of doing. And it's so I'd like to reference our good friend Drunk 3PO, wherever he is out there in Drunkland. He's been covering Galaxy's Edge like a motherfucker. And when he went and visited Galaxy's Edge, the comment that really like resonated with me was that it's a Star Wars themed park, but there's no Star Wars there. The most Star Wars that I saw was like the fucking pre-funk thing before you go into the park, and you see the Slave One, and you see the X-wing, and you see if you wait 15 minutes, you can meet Chewbacca, kind of thing.
You know what really stuck out to me
That's
about
right.
those videos? Sorry, Immortal, I cut you off there, but really stuck out to me about Drunk's videos was the audience with him. The people around him, which wasn't very many. It did look a little, abandoned, but nobody had like excitement in them. It looked like everybody was just kind of wandering around like, meh.
Yeah,
And I
pushing their
think
kids
back
in
to
strollers and shits. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but I think back to when I was a kid and try to imagine what my my antics would have been walking into something like that. Dude, I would have been doing cartwheels down the lane, looking for Luke Skywalker, freaking out, man. So it just blows my mind how subdued the audience has become to Star Wars, and they're just walking around like, yeah, this is Star Wars, bunch of fucking zombies.
Well, I hear
Sad.
you, Dubs. I did a video a couple weeks ago called LVD, and it was George Lucas's version of what Star Wars Land would be versus
Wait,
Disney's
wait, wait, wait. What was
Galaxies.
LVD supposed to stand for? Because it sounds
Lucas
like
versus
sounds like
yeah,
a
well that's
venereal disease.
and a psychoactive substance at the same time. So I
Ah, okay.
my titles are not by accident, man. There's and we can talk about any of them.
You know
But
the
yeah,
biggest problem. Oh, go ahead.
no, you're good. You're good, Wolf.
Oh,
What's up?
it's just something I noticed. Ichibaka had um, web like a article where he's talking about Bob Iger and all of his excuses for the failings of Galaxy's Edge, and he talked about guest satisfaction, and it's like, dude, that is so far from what people want to experience when they're going there, or like some sort of satisfactory guest experience. And it's like it's about having fun and about having something that you can relate to. Galaxy Quest has one thing and one thing alone that people can relate to when they walk in the park. That's the Millennium Falcon. Everything
Yeah, but
else has been stripped.
it's the testicle monster version of the Falcon.
Right. But I mean,
Yeah.
still, I mean, you walk in, you're like, holy crap, that's the Falcon, And
What's
that's
funny
it.
to me? Oh, sorry, Wolf. What was funny
Go
to
for it.
me, going back to Drunk's video for a second, uh, he had a scene in there where it started raining, and there's this little kid in like the middle of the park there, out in the rain, and he's flopping around in the water, right? And I couldn't help but say it, man. I was like, well, there's the best ride in the park. Kid looked like he was having more fun flopping
For
around
real.
in the water in a
In
mud
a
puddle.
puddle.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he was probably like the second pilot on the Falcon that he was talking about. It was like, and I had to give 3PO some shit because he was drinking the green stuff that came out of the tit beast. And I was like, oh man, you should have like wiped your mouth and make a Jake face.
Absolutely. I wanted to go back real quick. Something that Immortal had said about some of these people not debating us and so forth. There's actually one of the guys that was talking trash about the Fandom Menace, this whole 501st thing, that has been trying to reach out to me for quite a few weeks now. B-level Star Wars. He's got a small channel. He wants to have me on and talk. Yeah, at first, he wanted to have me on and talk about the Last Jedi and all that stuff. And he's been very respectful. And every single time he's commented in my chats, he's always been very respectful. And I have told him that I will go on and debate with him. And I'm going to keep as soon as I can, as soon as I have time. I'm really busy. I will go on there and do that. But so credit where credit is due. There is at least somebody on that side saying, "Hey, let's talk." So I will let you guys know when I'm going on that channel.
Well, that was really.
I'll say this though, Steven. Expect no progression with these people. Because
Mercy.
if you go to
Yeah.
my chat, you're like, yeah, I'm like, fucking with him. He doesn't understand the tone. He's a literalist. He's, reading everything from just black and white, fundamental. Like he said these words, and these words are hate. I'm a Nazi.
Right.
So.
Well, I have no illusions. No.
Yeah.
No, but I'm going to present myself
your
as
due diligence.
self.
Yeah. I appreciate.
Yeah, I'm going to go
that.
in there and.
Well, I have to say that that's one of the things that really disappointed me about my interaction with Urban Acolytes was he was completely unwilling to even watch the material on its own merits, and instead was willing to believe what Ms. Rhythmia had to say over, actually researching your topic before you go on and start running your suck. That should be endemic to our responsibility as journalists, but it's not.
Yeah, and real quick, I'm sorry, guys. I just want to mention one more thing to anybody who listens to this. When I announced that I'm going to be going on B-level Star Wars and having a discussion with him about this, if any of you Fandom Menace guys come out there, and I hope you do, and check it out and watch it, try and remain calm. Don't get into attack mode. You're probably going to encounter a lot of people who are talking shit at you, but be respectful of the platform that I am respecting by going on and having that conversation as much as you possibly can. Don't know. I gotta set it up with you.
I will refrain. I will refrain from perforating back holes unless provoked.
When is it going to happen?
I was thinking next month. Right now, there's a lot of work going into the book. The GoFundMe kind of got the wheels moving. We're trying to get the rest of the money up. If we do get the rest of the money up, not only will it drop the cost of the book, but things will move along a lot faster than they have.
What are you up to now, Steve?
We're close to 2,000. In other words, 1869, 69 around there, and but Gary reached out to me today, Nerderotic, on an email, and I fanboyed out.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I fanboyed for a minute, and so he gave me contact, and I sent an email back to him, and he offered to promote the book, and I told him straight out. I said, "This is the GoFundMe. This is what's going on with it. This is how much I've got. If whether you choose to help promote it or not, that's completely on you." And I said I'd be willing to go on his channel or live stream if he asked me to, but I wasn't going to ask him of that. I was going to ask that of him because I felt that it was disrespectful and presumptuous to assume that these bigger channels will have me on. Anytime one of these guys reaches out like Jeremy and has me on, I'm very appreciative of it and respectful of it, just like I am with any of you. And I try and acclimate myself to your platform, and I'm very thankful for that.
Steven, you're talking about this, and talking with your editor, it's I've talked to him before. I didn't realize like how deep he's into a lot of stuff and following and appreciative of a lot of us little guys doing this stuff and everything, really watching us. Not just like getting entertainment, but finding value. And I appreciate that. Appreciate his insight. And I didn't really think of it, but he's talking about how we're not talking, we're not communicating, we're not linking up. Like we might stream here and there with other people, but we're not like really building a community, really building something. Kind of the same sentiment, like I said, where it's like Comic Skate, when you look at it, actually has the advantage, whether you care about it or not, has the advantage of a focused directive, as opposed to Fandom Menace, where it's just.
And that's why we need the gender check, baby.
And I was just thinking though, why, or not why, but 'cause I should be doing more, and that's what I'm trying to. I'm trying to retweet your stuff, follow you more, and everything more than I do with chatting with you. Um, how do you feel when, like, I think you contacted me a while ago, but I never like picked up. I didn't know who the fuck you were, so I'm like, whatever. Somehow something clicked. I looked at your stuff. I'm like, oh fuck, like this is awesome. And he did a video with my emblem in it, and everyone else. I'm like, what? Like this guy is like following everyone. So that really keyed me in, like just the breadth of your knowledge of channels, not just one or two. And I'm just wondering, like, from where you're at now, looking back, getting you on Jeff Hicks. Um, how's it feel? Like, what are some things you notice about yourself, confidence wise, streaming? What tips could you give people, perhaps, or just, I don't know, run with kind of what I've laid out. I've laid out this pretty
Yeah,
broad.
no problem. Well, firstly, as far as tips go, any of you guys out there listening or watching, um, understand the channel that you're going to be on. If you're not familiar with it, watch a few videos, a few live streams, and understand the tempo and what the culture is of the channel you're going on. For instance, I can come on Black Angus and talk about dicks, because Black Angus is cool with that. But I wouldn't go on, a Mary's or someone else's stream. I wouldn't go on Geeks and Gamers and start talking about dicks. I wouldn't do that. So understand the culture of where you're at. Just be respectful as if you're walking into someone else's home, because that their channel is their brand. It is their creation. It is their promotion. And if you are respectful as you would be walking into another person's home and respecting their rules and culture, then then everything should be fine. Just be yourself as if you were doing that. What I've noticed from the very beginning of this project, which I think I've stated this before, I was pitching an idea to Jeremy Griggs to do a company profile for his channel. He was on a live stream one night, and he said, "If there are any authors out there that want to write me a book on how to monetize SJW."
Yeah, I remember that stream.
Yeah. And I was like, "Oh yes, sir!" And I got right on my keyboard and I said, "Oh, Mr. Jeremy Griggs," and that turned into a bunch of conversations that led up to started me writing. He said, "Yeah, start writing on it, start working on it, and then we'll keep talking." Sent him a packet proposal for the book. Spoke with him and his CFO of geeksandgamers.com. After Star Wars Celebration came up, and it kind of just died out. And I'm not sure if that was because he was busy or he got some advice from a few other people, and they were like, "Nah, you might not want to do this." Whatever it was, it's his business. I'm pitching the idea to him. I can't be mad, but I already had like 20,000 words written out for this book, and I already had a concept for it. So I figured in the meantime, while I was waiting to hear back from him, I'd just start working on something else. And that's how the Fandom Menace Volume 1 started. And when I started making promotions for it, the very thing that you grasped in that video when you saw your symbol, your logo on there, that was exactly the idea. It was me going, "Hey guys, I'm over here. I know you don't know me, but I'm doing this," and I wanted to let all of you know. And the when I first started it, I was very presumptuous. About I figured the bigger channels, because they have the most limelight, they would reach out to me, and because I was already talking with Jeremy on and off. I figured that they would reach out to me and they would, help pull me up, and that, everything would be, sunshine, rainbows, and rainbow dildos. But it wasn't. And, because nobody knew me. And I completely understand that. I am a stranger. At that point, I was a complete stranger in the community. It was Lethal Lightning. It was Black Angus. It was Mary Mayhem. It was, Rookie Critic. It was Immortal. It was Snowdub. It was all these different people, Red Gaze, that took me in. And then well, Angus threw me. Angus did what any good professional does on a live.
It ever said, Stefan.
Yes, absolutely. And every good, and I'll wrap this up. But Angus brought me on a live stream with Jeff Hicks. He was like, "All right, Steve, you're going to come on for 20 minutes. Just because we don't really know you, I want to make sure you're okay." And he was like, "Okay." And then I found out at that minute I was going to be on there with Jeff Hicks. I was like, "Oh my god," because I actually had history with Jeff Hicks. I sent him 2 letters last year. His first million view video was a letter I wrote to Bob Iger. It was involved in that. And there was another letter that I wrote to, it was 2 letters I wrote to Disney Lucasfilm. I can't remember what the first one was, but they were both very popular. And to me, that kind of made me feel like I was contributing to the community by him getting that, that first million view video. And
put those in the book, man.
No, I think that would be selfish of me, because I'd be like, "Hey, look at me and look what I did." I'm not doing that. So Excuse me. So yeah, it was the smaller channels, and that's when it really hit me that the culture of the Fandom Menace, one of the tenets of the Fandom Menace, is helping each other out, lifting each other up, helping each other. And I think maybe somewhere along the way, because everybody got so busy, they forgot that, and it took Snowdub to stand up and kick some people, with verbally to get them to remind him of that. And and I'd also like to thank Snowdub because it wasn't for him standing up and allowing me to interview him the other week and talk with him about his feelings and letting him vent and get those things out and doing it in a way that uh, didn't cast me in a bad light. That
It was
that was the
constructive.
catalyst. Yeah, that was the catalyst that propelled me to the next level where I'm at, where I'm talking with, I'm on Geeks and Gamers, and I'm talking with Jeremy, and I'm contracted to write some articles for geeksandgamers.com now, and now I got Gary reaching out to me, and I've got other YouTubers kind of talking to me, and so it's all because of you guys. It's because of the smaller channels. That is who we are. That is the culture of the Fandom Menace. We help each other out. We support each other, and as one of us rises, so do we all.
Hail.
Hail.
Thank you, Stefan. I love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
Yeah, just to clarify, everyone, Drunk, I see you're in the chat now. Kermit, he said, smells gay in here. I would hope so. It's the goal. Abu, thanks for coming in. Action figure expert. Cyborg Valkyries hanging around as well. Red Gaze is saying hi. Red Gaze, I thought you were in the chat to come on. If not,
Is it getting
sorry.
gays in here?
Gaze agenda. It's funny. People don't know this, but I kept pushing Red Gaze. I'm like, dude, you got the perfect thing. As a joke with the John Talk stream, I'm like, hey, we should, it's Pride Month. We should all, pander and trick people. Maybe accidentally click on our channels. Put like, something gay for Pride Month in our names to fool the algorithm. And it's like, I can be whatever. I couldn't really figure out mine because they're like, oh, it'd be like Black Angus reviews or something. It's like, well, I want that for a parody. I'm trying to think of something for myself. But gays, Red Gaze, that was easy. John Talks Gay, easy. Wyatt Holiday, easy. And Red Gaze, he finally, I was like, dude, you should do it. The gays agenda. It's clever. It's a tee-hee, because he's totally straight. And out of nowhere, I hear this video where he's like, consider joining the gays community. And I'm like, oh, he did it. So it's a fun group we got, and
Yeah.
I'm glad, seeing Steven actually get on Geese Gamers. I'm like, my God, like finally, what I was trying to do. But to clarify,
That was a big moment.
to
for real.
clarify with
I appreciate
Steven,
it.
for anyone that doesn't know, another reason, well, one, I didn't tell him about the Jeff Hicks thing because you never know last minute if, Jeff Hicks like, hey, I'm a big channel and fuck you, no time, better things to do. So I was keeping that like, hey, started telling people like 2 weeks out, I'm like, hey, are you free next Wednesday? And a couple of them were like, yeah, I'm doing my own thing. And I'm like, I'm not going to fucking, beg you and tell you like, oh yeah, Jeff Hicks is going to be on. So then you're going to be like, oh, okay, I'll cancel. Like, no, you say yes or no if you want to be on, then I'll tell you about it. And Steven's like, cool, come on. And then it's like, oh, we had it confirmed. The other reason I gave you 20 minutes to start was I didn't know if you were like, a fucking
Oh yeah.
a Nazi, an actual Nazi,
Right.
an actual white supremacist. I had nothing about you besides a couple of videos where it's like, I like these channels, and it's like,
hmm
I don't know what that means. I don't know you. So
I dig it.
if
Yeah.
it came out later, if you're like Westboro Baptist, but you're in the Fandom Menace, I have the I have the shield, if you will, of like, hey, I didn't know. I just knew he was writing a book, so I'm like, here you go.
Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah.
No,
So
I appreciate you offering that chance
that
to
was
me.
my
That was a big
reasonable
gamble.
defense, like
Yeah.
just to distance myself if needed. But
hmm
me and Steven talk and stuff, it's awesome. So I'm glad.
Yeah, man.
Well, to be fair to your point there, Angus, you actually did tell me that Jeff was going to be on the stream beforehand, so I got to go in prepared, but some others didn't.
What would you do if like you just like, oh, it's a Black Angus stream, whatever, and it's like, oh wow.
Angus
I think it was
broke my
maybe-
cherry with Jeff Hicks.
I think it was like maybe my second or third stream, and
Well, there was a couple of us there. It was like you and me and Mary and Steve and
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Angus.
And
Yeah,
I used Jolly the whole fucking stream, and I puppeted for fucking 2 hours straight, man. My arm hurt after that stream, but I gained about 30 subs that night too. So
Yeah, it
much
was.
love, Angus. It was a great stream.
Yeah, it was just it was an awareness thing. It's like, and I told Jeff, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna have a couple friends. Like I always do this anyway, but I'm gonna have some people where it's like, I was just trying to like tell him like, hey, I don't want you to feel like cheap or something, but like I know what it means to get you on my channel, so I want to give people a boost that I think I have an established relationship with, but also.
So you
Um,
didn't send Hicks any dick pics, is what you're saying?
no, no,
No, okay,
no,
all right. No, so
no.
you do act professional. Okay.
I
but
mean,
did you ask him for hick pics?
Ah.
oh, oh, I love it. That was clever.
Sorry, Jeff. Sorry.
No, no, don't
All right,
apologize
I'm
for.
unsubscribing to Angus right now. God damn it.
Sorry, I'm making this little slideshow of funny stuff. Damn it, I
Okay, while you're making a slideshow, Wolf,
Yo,
what's going on, man?
um, I'm just I've been spending the last 2 weeks kind of brainstorming my dystopia story. I'm
Cool.
on. I just finished chapter 3, and now I'm gearing up for chapter 4, doing some background research for it,
Mhm.
and just seeing where the story wants to go, which is kind of how I write. I don't try to force the story. I don't try to force the characters.
Right.
It's like I listen for where the story wants to go, what the characters want to say, and how they want to respond. It's like
Beautiful.
watching a movie in my head, and I'm just writing it down.
Yeah. Are you just writing science fiction, or are you doing a comic? What's the
Well, basically, I'm just focusing on writing. My artwork has kind of taken a backseat, except for my memes and whatnot. But I finished up my vampire story last month. That was like 6 chapters, which each chapter is only 4 pages. And so I'm working on this one, which is more sci-fi. And I've got a couple other ideas that want to get fleshed out as well, and on top of my Blue Squadron story, which I actually want to flesh out in more detail. I did a 3-paragraph synopsis for it, and so that would be something that I would love to see on screen. It's just like
right.
how General Merrick came to be part of the Blue Squadron, and how he hooked up with Radis. And I have this whole idea of how he used to be part of the Empire, and he belonged to this really rich and powerful family that was pro Empire. And then once he got behind the scenes and started to see what was really going on, he defected with a group of other Imperial pilots that agreed with him. And so they made off in the U-wing that you see in Rogue One to go and find the Rebel Alliance. So,
nice. That's not.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere that anybody can read this?
Yeah, I just I'll post it up on my page. It's going to be in Twitter has this thing called what is it? Not memories. What is it?
Memories.
Moments. That's it. Moments. So it's like you can create an album, and you can add in tweets that you've posted, and that's where I've got like a lot of my ideas. The one I just posted up is called Star Wars Alternative Possibilities, and it's got the blockade runner as a front page. And
Nice.
so I've been using Moments to kind of post my stories and post my ideas once I get them completed. And in there also I have how it could have been, and it's basically a re-examination of the sequel trilogy characters and how they could have been developed with it's like a brief, again, a 3-paragraph description of them, their origin, where they come from, and then what's happening with them as well. So,
man, that sounds interesting. I would definitely dig checking some of that out. Do you do just fan fiction, or do you do original works as well?
well, my original work is my vampire story.
Uh-huh.
It's called Book of the Hive, and it's basically a narrative overview of this generation of vampires from the beginning until its eventual demise. And it fills in about werewolves and where they come from, and where zombies come from.
Nice. Because
And yeah,
yeah, I mean, the one of the end games of doing what I'm doing is being able to create an author circle, a writer circle of
yeah,
Fandom Menace creators, of writers, so that we can do what the YouTubers are doing and come together and start publishing our own works and working together. So, like, keep in touch with me, man. I want to check out some of your stuff, and
sure.
shut up, Angus. And
No, no, no. I just read Brad Noble. I'm like catching up with the chat, and he says Black Angus almost sounds like Wenger almost. I'm like, I'm from Oklahoma, so I'm from Hick Country. I've heard people like Wenger. I love Wenger. Wenger's funny, and I love the Hick accent. It's fun. It's endearing, just like Mandy. But I honestly don't think there's
mm,
a vocal comparison there. Just to
All I know
distance
is I
myself.
can't wait for the story of Super Doberman when he turns Meth Gator into a suitcase.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Uh,
Meth Gator.
Dude, in the I actually found on it. I had the hardest fucking time because I'm doing my research, to pay homage perhaps to some of these films, movies that have similarity of concept, like TMNT. Read the first issue of TMNT. Um, Venom,
Mhm.
Hulk, Breaking Bad. I watched Alligator in Lake Placid last week or 2 weeks ago, and I watched Alligator. I didn't see this as a kid. The only thing I really remember is the gator eating a kid in the pool, and I watched it and I'm
That must have
like,
been at Disneyland, right? Didn't the gator eat somebody?
I was
Yeah.
thinking of that, and I was thinking of how to, because I'm thinking of ways to cross over my Meth Gator character with my Black Angus character. So I got some
Well,
fun
so
stuff. I
there
got
was a
Disney.
really funny like Chappelle stand up where he was talking about a superhero that could like pretty much get into Superman level, power. But the only way that he could do that was if he went and like literally grabbed a woman's pussy. So your guy,
Wait, you
you follow me on this? Your guy.
you talking about Wenger's story, the superhero?
Well, no, I'm talking about meth gators. So, like, if the way that you hulk up is you have to like find a guy who's willing to let you like either grab him or do something to him, and then you hulk up and you're just like
Grab him right by the pussy.
Yeah, it's
grab a
no.
man by the pussy.
This is
Yeah,
this
the
is
man
Meth
pussy.
Gator, not Man Pussy Gator.
No,
I
he's
mean,
gonna grab you by
the
the.
core I've asked some
I,
normies. I went to the library. I'm like, I checked out a comic. There's a meme. I'll have to find that meme. I'll send it to myself on the computer. There's a meme. I'll show y'all later of me drunk and immortal. I shared it on Twitter, but a lot of people didn't catch on. I'm about to show y'all some
Yes,
funny
the
memes.
Punisher. Yep.
Yeah, I love it. But I was asking this woman, like, yeah, okay, you're just an old chick. I figure you only know about comics from movies recently and stuff, last decade or two. Um, I was trying to get like a normie perspective, like if I'm doing Meth Kid, what are you expecting something about his power set to be? What do you expect? And I was like, aside from meth, and she's like, well, it's kind of, I expect Meth Gator to be meth based, and I'm like, all right, it's that simple. All right, people expect that, and I will not overcomplicate. I'm just trying to find a legitimate reason, narratively, to make it where meth
Like he has to go
gators.
score because there's like a burning building with children inside.
No, I'm just like his power is meth induced, and I'm just trying to because he becomes imbued with this power by accident, like a lot of Marvel characters, as EVS points out. Um, and I got to make it where it's like, all right, well, people are the ones smoking meth that accidentally drop it on them. How did the people not turn into super meth heads if it's radioactive meth? So that's been the challenge because I'm very over analytical. I love watching science shit and stuff. So I'm like, oh, I watch shit about why do animals, like what's something about us that has made us progress compared to every other animal. And you get into like the foxp2 gene, what it does for humanity, it does something totally different for like rats, even though it's present in their bodies. So shit like that, I get too deep, and I that's why I'm reading comics, so I can
Well, and
you
check it out. So
channel it,
the guy who cooked up vibranium, the thing was that he was mixing exotic ores and he fell asleep. And when he woke up, pow, there's vibranium. And I only have enough to make one thing. What should I make? And it was a similar thing with adamantium. And maybe something like that happens, like some fucking twackers like cooking up some shit in his tub.
I only got so
And he
much
drops
mess.
like, yeah, he drops in like a washing machine tablet accidentally, and then like
Tide
he
Pod.
has to look back and cover his eyes, and like everything's bright, and then next thing you know, everything's bubbling over, and he has this like mega meth crystal that's you know. And then
Yeah.
your
What do
dude
you?
just like waking up, he's like, "Oh, I gotta go score," and he
Yeah,
eats it, and then like suddenly,
so are y'all seeing this? Are you seeing the meme?
Oh, I see the meme.
which
Yes.
Oh God.
Okay, all right. So this is my, without the words, this is my thumbnail for my video. All right, Man of Sex. If you see the MOS down here, that's Man of Sex. Follow him on Twitter at Man of S3X. Funny guy, really knows how to meme. I asked him, I was like, "Hey, I need emergency help. I need my meme. Need my meme photo in here with Urban Acolyte to tee hee at him. This is known in war campaign
oh,
as
that's
tee
classic.
hee
Yeah.
Angus. Red Gaze definitely knows it. He loves it. I actually texted him this morning while I was at work. I went to the porridge on, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm about to upload my video. What do you think of this title of anti-Fandom Ministers harass LGBT man of color?" Just to spin it, just to flip it on them. We're like, "Oh, you're attacking minorities and women," and it's like, "Well, I'm a minority twice over." So this is the picture. Thank you, man of sex. All right, and this is me walking y'all through. All right, so let me remove this one. All right.
And if you threw a turban on
Wait,
Angus,
hold on. There we go. All right, so this is the girl.
Damn.
This is the girl from. This is the one that called for the harassment of Stephen Wayne Art, the guy who made the Phantom Menace meme picture, the logo.
she's
Is that
actually
her?
hot.
I know, but if you look
That's
at some of
her?
her pictures, she's got the SJW crazy eyes.
She
But
does.
yeah, she
I
is.
like, I like
Yeah.
a little crazy.
She is a
It's
beautiful redhead. Love it.
Yeah.
But
Don't
she's from
stick your wang
Finland,
in
and she
crazy.
has arrhythmia.
yeah, she gives a rhythm
Yes.
to my dick. Um,
Yeah.
The
my
rhythm was
member.
too much for her.
Oh,
You'd
what
have
was
to
that
go to
gender?
Finland
What
for
was
her,
that the
though.
gender we voted on? Hold on. Oh, go ahead. Yes.
But yeah,
You'd have to go to Finland for her.
but yeah. So War Campaign, they made this Star Wars meme. You got a Black Russian bot here in the center. He's a red stormtrooper. You got Dan Marshall, Dan the Milkman. I'm not sure who this guy to the right is. Of course, you got the War Campaign in the background. Everyone's partying here. Got the stormtroopers in the back. Again, don't know guy on the right or on the left bottom. You got what's her name? Because she likes to cosplay as an Imperial lieutenant or captain. So you got Marietta with an enlarged head on the wrong body. You got Norwal, if you know Comicsgate, you got Norwal here with his mask and glasses. And Man of
Yep.
Sex here in the bottom right, going pew 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 fuckers. Um, Beautiful hair, luscious hair. If you've seen some of the Ethan Van Sciver hair memes, it's Man of Sex's hair. Beautiful stuff. All right, now next here we got Love is Love. You got Yoda, using the Force, levitating Stephen Wayne Art's logo, and the War Campaign. You got Jedi Master Rowe, and you got Marietta in cosplay with I'm Not Tyler spraying the gay on her.
Damn.
Love it, and they got a little tribunal up here at the top, because memes kill. You're held against your will in the War Campaign tribunals. It's funny shit. And lastly, this is made for me with the tee hee You got the Angus's beef party.
Oh, God.
So,
Angus's beef party.
you know,
Oh,
the person made this meme. They're like, Angus, if you were to lay with two brothers from the war campaign, who would be? I'm like, well, of course, Roe, because he's just a total package, and Dan Marshall, because he's got a silky smooth British accent, and he plays, he'll serenade me, and he's got a nice little beard that I can braid, in between lovemaking sessions, and yeah, and then we got Terry here. If you watched that stream with Boyette crying about fudge, that was when Rose was like, Terry, stop typing. Um, but yeah,
So this is what these are the memes you look at before you start posting dicks in a direct message to your friend.
well,
Okay.
actually, no. This was those that meme I made quickly was actually just scrolling through my Twitter. I saw that and I'm like, you know what?
Does he have a plunger on his dick? I'm sorry, go ahead.
He did. You
I
totally
don't know why I
derailed
just
me.
stared at that. I just popped out at me.
Etep Wakunia.
That's just
Fuck, I'm
wrong.
gonna fuck up your name, but the place to be
Hakuna
reviews
Matata.
says, "Hell,
oh
Black
God.
Angus." Lethal Lang says, "She require my penis?" Question mark.
I say we stick lethal on her, and let him toxic masculinity that.
We
He's
got.
gonna breed out the stupid in this generation.
Yeah, we got. Oh wait, let me. There's another funny meme here that they use my Teehee Angus pick for. I'll find that shortly for y'all to enjoy. Um,
Hey, Angus, if
yeah.
you get a chance, check the 812 message box.
Okay.
I sent another meme in there.
Oh, Rogers.
It's
Rogers
a it's
memeing.
it's a 501 meme. Oh yeah, I've been memeing all week. So
It's a disease. It's infectious.
someone posts something and I've got to meme it. I just break out the Photoshop and take a break from my story.
Damn. Sorry. No, 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 no. Sorry.
Oh,
I'm not sure if this is the same person, but there's a. I know I've seen. I'm sure it's not. I've seen this. I'm looking at this side by side. There's a picture of Marietta and then a cosplayer as a Tuscan Raider, but sexy with her head off, and I'm just like, wowzers. And they're doing like side by side the
huh.
face, and it's like, is this the same person? I really don't think it is, but some great stuff here. But yeah, let me go to. I keep seeing my meme in the chat with the trash can.
Um,
Wait. So I'm trying to find the. Okay. Wait, are you talking about the soy light foam?
yeah, that's it.
Do you want me to show
I
that?
turned it into a Starbucks ad. Yeah, if you want, sure.
Okay. It's kind of complicated.
I turned the.
I gotta save it. I gotta send it to myself in email and then download it. For some reason, I
Oh my
can't.
God,
Jesus.
Yeah, well,
that's
I got an older
insane.
computer, and then I don't know if what's up with the
Oh,
software, and so I just got to figure out. For whatever reason, saving pictures from Twitter doesn't work on my computer now, so I got to email them to myself.
huh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Hey, Steven, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, I just tagged you in a couple posts on my Twitter.
Okay.
So I reposted my uh oh shoot, I forgot the name of those things. I keep wanting to call them memories, but they're not. Moments.
Moments.
Yeah, so intimate calling them moments.
See,
Dark
Lethal
Why not
moments.
Lightning's.
call them albums? But
Leth-
anyway, I tagged you in both of them in the two that I posted.
Cool. I'll check your moments out.
Yeah.
Lethal Lightning
Why, thank you.
says bigots. And let me see. Sean Davis saying, "Yo, hell, Sean Davis." We got Daddy
Hell.
Pants saying, "I'm only a bigot between the hours of midnight and 11:59 p.m." So,
Hey, Matt Hayes is saying the audio is going in and out.
oh, I have no idea how to help that. Honestly, sorry about that.
Maybe Black Angus, you should create a bigot alarm clock to add to your store so that people know when it's okay and appropriate to be bigots. Then they'll wake up and have a productive day.
It also looks like my my avatar is stuck on the the screen. I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
I don't know what happened.
You probably clicked on somebody. If you click the avatar again, it's probably going to go away for you.
You know what? Maybe it was all those, all the gayness. All the gayness memes.
There's nothing wrong
It
with
That's
being
got
gay.
wedged.
Yeah.
that's the bullseye for you, right? Like that's the person you want to most. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, my computer's going slow with this OBS stuff. So I was going to show you. You can see it on my thumbnail for my review of 3PO's review of Galaxy's Edge. Uh, there's the Teehee with drunk 3PO taking a pic with the Falcon. That's a
I
great one.
can't see it.
Oh, it's like
Is it up?
it's like 2 or 3 videos ago.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought it was sorry, I thought it was a meme you were posting.
I was going to, but my the Google won't pop up for some reason, so I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah,
Weird.
3PO wore this goofy ass Panama hat and like red sunglasses. Like he was like, I don't want anybody to know that I'm Phantom Menace.
You're right.
It's a
Instantly
sophisticated
memeable.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah. No, he was like,
The
well,
debonair.
he was like the cocaine dealer that probably Kermit would go and meet. To...
That's
The
why he's going to the
Panamanian.
jungle.
Yes, that's Panama Jones.
For
Fucking
real.
3PO, man. It's just so easy to pick on him because, like, every time I talk to him, he's doing some kind of charity or he's doing something good, and I'm like, dude, fuck you. You're making us all look bad.
He's
like,
the most easygoing, laid back guy,
You know,
Just
if like fuck, I can't even click on the. I can't click to present you, but if y'all want to present, you can show the picture of the chat in the window.
I'd be
I actually
afraid
got
of
to jump off, Angus. I got to go do another stream right now.
Yeah,
Um,
cool.
what stream is that? Because I'm about to end this.
You famous
Thomas
motherfucker.
Gilkey's got a stream going
Oh,
with
yeah.
Geek in Disguise, Two Bald Guys, and 19K Fox.
Mhm.
And I'm actually fighting Twitter right now. They got me blocked out for some reason, so I gotta mess with it. But I got 22 minutes. It's telling me left
oh
to get
wow.
Twitter. So anyway, I gotta
Sounds like
mess
getting
with
a
it.
Yeah,
Tell
timeout.
my
take
boy
care.
Snow Dub, he didn't do nothing.
Take
That's
care,
bullshit.
Snowdub. Thanks for coming on, even though you're late. Because you were crying and vomiting out of shame for your tiny dong.
Tell
Oh my
Thomas,
god, don't remind me.
tell Thomas I said hi and good have fun.
Much love,
But yeah,
guys. I'll talk to
everyone
you
go over to
See you,
Thomas
Snow.
Gilkey after this. It's Thomas Thomas Gilkey Gilkey. If you want to catch Snowdub and everyone else in there. I know 19K Fox is going to be in there. I'm not sure who else.
And Angus just said KY.
I said KEY. I said KEY.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Trying to think. Yeah, we never even got to the fucking Spider-Man thing. It's funny.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
It's funny. Okay, I did mention like the whole bots thing. That's the main thing from this is that Sony released the information publicly. Like, hey, we had a deal. We're going to keep the deal we had and keep letting Disney do their shit, and we get paid for it for nothing really, no expenditure, and we get to have our name on it. So it looks like our product. Uh, and then Dead Eraser does the research, finds the Disney bot tweets, all the same shit to steer a bad image. Of course, people are going to forget. Once Sony makes a new Spider-Man, especially. Here's the thing. What's funny is I did a video months ago, I think maybe December, about Spider-Man. I said the MCU's in trouble without Spider-Man. This was during the time when James Gunn was gone, when Captain Marvel didn't look like it would make money. It looked like it was going to be solo. And of course, Captain Marvel did make money, but there's suspicion if Disney didn't tamper with buying out theaters. And I say that because they would get at least 50% money back. All right, so say they spent 500, even let's say up to $1 billion, they would get 500 million back, and it would look like a layup for them with Captain Marvel to spin a narrative that they want because they have a political agenda behind it. And they just spent 71 billion on Fox. So what's 1 billion to get half that back? And they could report losses. They could fudge the numbers, put it in the certain databases, and allot it to this R&D or whatever. All right, so you got that, and I was just saying that, who's going forward? You're getting rid of Iron Man, Captain America, Thor. At the time, we thought, although they kind of are with fucking female Thor, they're going to cuck them. So it's like, who do you got to
They
go
already
forward?
cucked him.
You got to think, who do they got to go forward? Spider-Man, even though he's young kid Spider-Man in this Avengers lineup, he is like the most iconic Marvel character, if not superhero in general. I would say he has more reach than Superman or Batman because both those kind of are exclusively American. Spider-Man, I would say, has a range that goes beyond America as far as like ethos and applicability to like culture and stuff, and power set and why he does stuff. It's a lot more basic, relatable outside of where you're from.
Hmm.
And so I make all these arguments and stuff, and now I'm seeing like Andy Senor, and I'm not dissing him. I'm just saying it's funny seeing like all these people, like my whole feed of Phantom Ministers I'm sub to and comic skaters. It's just Spider-Man's gone from Sony. It's just flooded, and it's like, is this like, I'm assuming, I'm not even watching because I'm just tired of like everyone saying the same shit every day. But I'm assuming everyone's like pissed or like, oh, maybe like, haha, fuck Disney, but oh god, he's gone from the MCU. How's it gonna work? And it's like, think of it this way: the biggest thing about Sony getting Spider-Man back, they have Venom. All right, make almost as much by itself without Spider-Man to start his journey. Him
Hmm.
starting this universe, uh, he makes almost as much by himself with the fresh thing with bad PR with Spider-Man from Sony for like a decade now, versus Spider-Man Homecoming, which is like pre-Infinity War with Iron Man and Michael Keaton coming back in a big role as another avian character, but a villain this time, just after the Founder and Birdman, in the MCU. Venom almost makes as much as it. Just think about
Do
the
you
next
think
movie with Andy Serkis, with better writing, with more continuity established with the crew and Sony and direction. Now they got Spider-Man to tie to him. Sony, like it or not, believe it or not, Sony is the future for, and they're probably the last bastion for like big popcorn franchises to combat Disney. So, that's what I'm looking forward to. I've been wanting Sony to get them back. I think this is going to fuck Disney long term because you're pushing these new things, you're pushing warped things for what we used to like Falcon and Bucky, and there's no Captain America to tie that together. You got Wanda and Vision, but like who cares to watch that dating couple? A weird witch and her fucking robot. Um, like where are they going for? They're about to destroy Thor, in Thor 4. So Spider-Man, like Marvel's gonna reap what they sow. That's my thought.
I
do
just
you think
find
they
it
could?
interesting. Go ahead.
Oh, no, no, no. Go ahead. I can wait.
Oh, I was just going to say, I find it interesting that this whole thing blows up about Spider-Man going back to Sony right on the heels of this expose about Disney lying and, cheating on their books. And this accountant that's been with them for what, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 years or whatever, coming out with this whistleblower
Oh, the
thing. So.
accountant.
Yeah, the accountant. I just find that really interesting, like the timing. It's like they don't want people to focus on that, so give them something else that's seemingly juicier to talk about, which is, oh my God, they're losing Spider-Man. It's like, oh wait, what about the $6 billion that Disney's been lying about, and which also would lead to, okay, so did Disney really buy all those tickets for Captain Marvel to like, uh, swing the numbers to make it look like it was doing better than it really did.
I
So
believe so.
I
Theater
just,
owners were reporting like 3 empty rows at the front of the,
Yeah, like
everything.
consistently 25
Well,
empty seats multiple times repeatedly.
that's because
right.
Urban Outfitters was giving out tickets for free with every $50 purchase for I don't know how long, it was a few months. So you had those, and they were set up through Fandango, the same Fandango that's run by ex Disney employees, the same Fandango that told Rotten Tomatoes in the middle of the night to change their website so that people could stop giving their opinion on that upcoming film.
Oh wow.
So
Oh, oh,
that
oh.
Oh,
Steven,
yeah,
you're on a roll here. You're on a roll. There's more to add to what you're saying because I agree, and I think you're definitely on something that people aren't talking about. All right, so Charlie's Angels, the new one coming out with Twilight Chick and Elizabeth Banks directing the woke shit. Funny thing, the writer or screenplay writer is a Disney guy. Everything he's done aside from Hercules with The Rock has been Disney shit. Okay, like
Hmm.
Tinkerbell, like all this like direct to DVD, like Disney production stuff. Aside from Hercules, then I know where he's doing Charlie's Angels, and it's woke. All right, you got
You know,
he. Oh no, no,
I'm
let me tie
I'm
this
really
together.
upset.
Let me tie this together, Roger. You got
Go
James
for it.
Bond, Lashana Lynch from Captain Marvel, being trans man Bond or whatever.
Yeah.
007. You got on 007, the writer with that is L337 actress who's helping bring Me Too awareness to James Bond. Like what? It's like James Bond's like Hugh Hefner for spies. Like he needs to do cool shit, blow stuff up, fuck bitches. There's no Me Too ness involved with any of that. Like he reaps a reward. He's not forcing himself. Yeah, there's the first James Bond, whatever. That's the '60s. Um, there's some more shit. I forgot the moment, but like you start. Oh yeah, James Gunn. James Gunn fired, quote unquote, goes to DC and gets Suicide Squad. Probably being a producer for Avengers 3, is probably getting a bigger role to help guide the direction post Zack Snyder for the DCEU, which is going woke with Shazam defending Captain Marvel before release, Birds of Prey. You're starting to see all these Disney people outside of Rotten Tomatoes, outside, J.J. Abrams getting a Warner Brothers deal supposedly. Um, a lot of weird shit. Disney people getting planted. We thought J.J. not taking Lucasfilm was like a sign of how corrupt it was. Then all of a sudden you get a J.J. Lackey, his producer from like Into Darkness, the chick with the horse face, potentially getting ranked up for take Kathleen Kennedy's spot while JJ takes over Warner Brothers, which AT&T just bought. So it's like Disney's everywhere. That's what I'm getting
Hmm.
at.
Yeah. It's like a web. It just keeps expanding and incorporating more
Yeah.
organizations.
And if they don't own you, they will put their weight on you, just like they did with the critic reviewers for the journal, for the Times. I can't remember the Anaheim Times, when they wrote an expose about Disneyland and how it was using the tax breaks that it was getting and not funneling that money back into the community. And Bob Iger did not like those articles, so Bob Iger came at that editor, actually got that editor fired in exchange for release. What had happened was the first thing they did was blocked all the reviewers from that newspaper from seeing any Disney movies. No more press passes, no nothing.
You're
That
talking
was
about, you're
their
talking about LA, right?
yeah, the LA Times, yeah. And what happened? A lot of different papers came together at that time. A lot of different papers came together and said, "No, we're not going to cover any Disney movies if you're going to do that to our journalists." So Disney lifted that ban, but in exchange, they had to fire the editor who ran those articles, which were all based in fact. They were factually reporting that what Disney was doing, but because Disney didn't like it, they had to lean their weight into it and try and scare them up. So they've been doing this for a long time. This was 2017.
Well, you know why, Steven, on top of just the might of Disney and stuff, because this was during, I think, Thor Ragnarok before Last Jedi. Thor Ragnarok was when we started getting reports that Disney was upping the ante. They're like, hey, we control everything. We're the box office, runners. So theaters have to give us even more money. And if you don't keep us in your theater long term, like we want for a month, we'll fine you and get like 70% plus fees, perhaps.
Hmm.
But back when I found that article that was covered, because like people talked about it for like a day, then it was gone. As far as people talking about it. And I've added it, repeatedly to like my coverage. Like this is the laundry list of why you should boycott Disney. Um, fuck, what was the there's something to it. God damn, I
I'm
just
looking.
lost it.
Look, I'm talking about Spider-Man's. I'm talking about Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man 4. Sony, do that shit. If you're gonna go through all this, give us Tobey back for one more film.
Dude, you know what? I haven't read much Spider-Man as of yet, but Jeff Hicks talked a big game about Spider-Man Reign, a kind of Elseworld like one shot kind of 4 issue story. And it's like he's an old man. Mary Jane's been dead for years because his jizz is radioactive, and it gave her cancer and killed her. And so when she died, he just quit. He buried his suit with her. But then Venom, uh, through this agency, like essentially takes over the city. So he finally comes out and fights Venom, fights Rain, and stuff. And this is a reference for that For Ollie stuff because they're like, we don't want Spider-Man associated with death. And it's like, well, you sell this reissued comic, and it's like the cover is him holding a tombstone, you know. But that's the story I want to see, where it's like the ending has an open. It's an open ending where the story can just keep going, but it's like old man Spider-Man who's like decrepit, like his spirit is decrepit and broken, and I want to see that for Tobey Maguire's last ride.
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. Spider-Man 3 for me was pretty much like a completion of it.
I don't think so. I just watched it recently. Like I checked out Venom from the library, and I got my son to watch it. He's 4, so he still likes like Thomas and uh, what, the little superhero kids show, PJ Masks, stuff like that. A lot of YouTube series shows for kids. So you never know what's gonna tickle his fancy as a little kid with his attention span. But I showed him Venom, and he was playing around. But then once I started getting to the action, I started like, hey, sit down, like, look, it's Venom, look at him, and he saw the suit, and he's just like, whoa, and I had a bunch of posters from the theater, this like alternate art poster, and he's freaking out about spiders all the time when he wakes up. And so I'm like, hey, Venom fights spiders, you know. I haven't heard anything about spiders since I put up the poster. So
Do you think they could do a Spider-Man Venom movie justice
uh,
without an R rating?
no, I think you need an R rating. I really think, Venom was PG-13 and he was an anti-hero ambiguous because they didn't know what was going to go on with Spider-Man going forward because there was the potential to tie him together with Venom. So, but yeah, like with Spider-Man 3, it doesn't feel like a complete story. Like it feels like there's something more, like um there's things to resolve with his relationship with his indulgence in life, for that brief span with the Venom suit and stuff. Like not just knowing that there was supposed to be a 4 with Vulture. It just there's certain little plot beats that felt like incomplete, that weren't, oh, whatever, audience, think what you want. Like, no, it feels like it was supposed to keep going for one more, like a quadrilogy. And I
I
watched it
think
recently. I
I
watched
don't.
it recently, and I saw the Venom stuff and everything for my kid, and I'm just like, I rewatched Spider-Man 3 a few times this year. Um, and I really don't get the hate for it. Now that I'm older, I see, like, yeah, there's like the obvious, cringe shit with like the emo Parker that doesn't work for Tobey Maguire. But aside from that,
Yeah,
it's a
that.
pretty concise story. It's pretty well told. It feels pretty consistent tonally with the other two movies. Um, and I use it. I think the biggest thing, just the value I get from it, is I use it in comparison to Captain Marvel, where it's like there's a consequence for indulgence. When you have this bitch indulge in hurting people to coerce them, like the deleted scene, that's what villains do, or that's what heroes learn from because it bites them in the ass. That's how they make villains, like Tony Stark, Iron Man 3. That's how he made his villain, was he was getting deep in some pussy, and then that bit him in the ass 20 years later.
Well, and if you look at movies like Deadpool and Logan, you can see that an R rating will automatically give you an avenue to do better storytelling than it would if you were trying to, you know, sell McDonald's Happy Meals. So Venom really needs to be a more violent character than we were given. Even though I can say, as a PG-13 movie, that was a pretty good movie, but that's not really what you want to see. At least not what I want to see.
Well, you're just a white male, so nothing's made for you.
I am. No, and I'm such a bigot. and I'm just dissatisfied because I hate women. Um,
Just punch yourself in the dick, Immortal. Just get it over
I
with.
I need to, gender check myself.
Yeah.
Oh, ooh, dude. Thomas Gilkey, he was asking for Snow to swing his way for the stream. Of course, we already were addressing that earlier, but
Mm.
have a good stream, Thomas. Um, Snowdub's awesome. Dr. Coffnell says Venom didn't scare the shit out of him. Or no, he's asked a question. Venom didn't scare the shit out of him. No, I'm a crazy guy. I love like my favorite characters are generally villains. I love bad guys. I think it's probably because of like the like not necessarily strict, but just like paranoid kind of Christian home I was from, where it's like besides like Darth Vader and like the stormtroopers, like I didn't get to have evil or dark side or bad guy characters. Batman was probably the closest that I was into at all. That like really crossed the level that my parents would let me have. Um, so now as an adult, I just indulge in like I got fucking devil chicks all around. I got yeah, I love evil characters like so I that kind of goes with my
You sh-
son where he's exposed to a lot of bad guys and stuff, and I'm like these are cool, and so yeah, Venom doesn't freak him out. I thought maybe it would with Spider-Man 3 with like the suit by itself freaking out, trying to get Parker before it blows up. And I was showing him that because it kind of put him in a weird state where like he doesn't love Spider-Man. He really likes him when he sees him and his attention's taken, but he likes Venom too. And so I'm showing him older Venom with Spider-Man 3, and I'm like, oh no, Spider-Man got hit by Venom, but like, hey, look, Venom's kicking his ass, like trying to see like which one he likes more, and he liked it. So, but I'm waiting to see what actually freaks my son out being older, where it's like, because I've exposed him to like darker stuff. He'll probably be scared of like Hello Kitty or something. That'd be my luck.
Well, I think he should be more scared of Topher Grace being Venom than
I don't
anything
know.
else.
Maybe it's because I don't like '70s show, but they do have pretty good writing. They got pretty good jokes and stuff. Given it's a studio audience show, and I hate that type of shit where the audience is like every 5 seconds, regardless if it's funny or not. But there's really good timing in '70s show for the most part. There's really good awkward quote unquote teen character acting and stuff, that the situational stuff along with the
yeah.
adults in the series. And so being exposed to that and seeing like Black Klansman and then watching Spider-Man 3, Topher Grace is not an actor that has tried to cash in on any name for to get a check. He's gone on hiatuses, so I appreciate that. Just like Tobey Maguire, he's Spider-Man. He doesn't really have a role that stands out to for the general public. Brothers is amazing, but most people don't know it. So seeing all that, and then watch Spider-Man 3 again as an adult critically. Um, Not being a fanboy, honestly, just watching him, like I really don't see a problem with it. It's not nothing like people complain about. It's just, like, oh, they went cringy with Parker with the emo. That's really all you got to complain about. That little second act, I guess. Everything else is
Well,
fine, and Venom's
and then
fine.
I just don't buy him as intimidating as I do Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
Tom
he's not
Hardy has that,
intimidating.
you
And
know.
let me see really quick. Someone said, oh, okay, Brother Malachi says, I'm going to get flack for this, but I always thought Vin Diesel would have been great for Venom in Spider-Man 3 or Venom. Tough guy
Mm.
built like a brick, shithouse, and a
Hmm.
Jersey native. He's ideal for playing Brock. Yeah, I would actually
Yeah.
be fine with that, but given that he's Groot, I don't think Disney would want to deal with that, especially given that,
He's got three damn lines.
especially you see now, you see where Disney Spider-Man has gone. Um, for whatever reason, they think I really think it's not even just a like we don't want to deal with Sony. We don't want to give them money when we're doing all the work. I also think it's I keep seeing this going around, the Spider-Man like Stan Lee thing. He didn't want him to buy. It's like make another character if you want
And
him.
he always wanted him to be a white male.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a
Yeah.
white straight male. Um, you got like the loophole of alternate universe Spider-Man, but that's fine.
Hmm.
Spider Verse was amazing,
It
um,
was.
and surprisingly, I was looking for it. I was looking for Spider Man Into the Spider Verse to be a little bit woke. It's Sony. I expected it. They already had a sequel plan with like all females for leads, so I was expecting it.
I
And I
want to see
watched
a
it.
I want to see a Charlie's Mangels.
Uh, uh,
No, no, Roger. That's just gonna
uh.
be little fairy twinks. If you want to see that, I gotta. I went to the pawn shop. I found. I'm scrolling through. I'm looking through all these movies, and lo and behold, I see this. The title just stands out. It's called Another Gay Teen Movie or Another Gay Movie or
uh,
something like that. And I'm like, what? Like, what the fuck is this? And I pick it up and I look at it, and it's like, okay, it's like American Pie for gays. It's like a coming of age, like, hey, we're all gay and virgins. We need to fuck, before college. It's essentially the same premise, but super duper gay. And there's like levels of gayness in the cast. There's like, oh, this guy's, pretty comfortable in his gayness, experimenting and everything, pleasuring himself. But he seems, pretty, normal, straight, whatever. Um, then you got like the uber. It goes all the way up to the uber gay. There's like the kind of jock, but he's gay. And there's like this tech guy, kind of smarty guy that I guess you'd say is cute, but he's nervous about himself. He's unsure. He's kind of in the middle of this range of gayness.
too much
And
software.
yeah, it was honestly it's a pretty fucking funny movie. Despite the first time I watched it, I'm like, I got it because I'm like, the wife is gonna enjoy this. This will be, she'll get a kick out of it. And second time around, we watched it with my brother-in-law and his my sister-in-law, and that was even funnier with guests. So if you can find another gay movie or another gay teen movie, I highly suggest watching it. If you can stand the gayness, it does get very gay. Um, you know,
You don't say.
beyond like my stream, beyond comic skate gay. Um, but yeah, the only thing I agree with that Topher Grace isn't quite intimidating, but watching him, I think delivery as far as like his motivation, I think he
He
was on
just doesn't
point.
have a lot of charisma.
I think his motivation, not just because it's like comic book beats for the character. I think he presented the motivation pretty well. Like it was just he's not a tough guy. He could be
No.
Spider-Man. He could be Peter Parker the dweeb. So yeah, like that's the problem is like you cast another Spider-Man to play Venom, and it's like this guy should be a douchebag, like muscled guy. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to figure out. I think tonally too, because you got Spider-Man versus Venom in three. It's hard to tell if my son like Venom more than Spider-Man three Venom. I think you like Venom more just because like he's a character. He's like we are Venom, and we got a little
I
thing
think
already.
I think a character that could have been like a parody of Peter Parker would have worked. He doesn't have to be muscle bound, but like you've got someone who's just like a total loser. He's got nothing going for him in life, and all of a sudden this thing happens to him, and he just feeds off it, and it feeds off of him. I think that would work.
You know, I was just thinking like it's unfortunate DC owns Hanna Barbera characters.
Oh, do
Um,
they?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow.
DC produced the recent Ghost, Space Ghost comic from 2016, which is a good, I think, six-issue story. I feel like Space Ghost, the original, like 60s. Check that out.
Oh, yeah.
But I was thinking, it's unfortunate because even though I really hate this character as an adult, I really fell out with him probably when I was like 10, even though I used to binge him. I was thinking it'd be great to have like a Venomized Scooby Doo. I think that'd be a great crossover.
Or Shaggy.
Oh God, Shaggy with the Venom suit. Honestly, Venom was the weirdest movie because it's like it's generic as fuck, and it's just like rewatching. I think it actually works, better than I recall watching it, but it's still like generic. But besides that, what saves it, what makes it really cool, makes it rewatchable, is the character dynamic between Eddie and the suit. and his ex-girlfriend and her boyfriend, who's his doctor. That's a funny little relationship. It's a little four-way, and it worked well.
Yeah, I stopped at two. Three was it was okay,
No, no,
but
I'm talking
again,
about
I mean, for
the
me,
new Tom Hardy Venom.
oh, I didn't even see
You
that. I
should
didn't
you
even
should
watch
see
it.
it. You should see it. You should give it a chance.
Yeah, give
Uh,
it a
Fucking
chance.
good, Wolf.
It's
You'd
worth
like
you
it.
it.
know, I watch the clips, I watch the trailers, and if the trailers don't grab me, I don't go. I don't watch it.
So you need a trailer to grab you by the man pussy. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, the thing is, the whole point of the trailer is that it shows scenes from the movie that are supposed to bring interest to the movie, you know. And if that doesn't work, if they don't do their job right, then it's like, it's like Alita. I saw the clips to Alita. I'm like, yeah, okay, pass next.
You know
You know,
what?
I saw the Fifth Element.
Oh god, I'm still salty, dude. I'm still salty about fucking Alita. If I wasn't distracted with this other shit, more pressing matters, I would just be while this, the the incel campaign of like, oh, look at this strong woman, yay! And it's like, you're talking
It's
SJW
hard
talk.
sell.
You're talking SJW talk, dude. When when have you ever justified liking Alien because she's a strong woman? You like Alien because you got a sex horror inspired creature from Giger come to life that uh, it's all dick inspired and it assaults you. It's
Are we
scary
talking
shit.
about Barbarella?
No, I'm talking about Alien. The actual Giger Ridley Scott Alien.
Yeah.
It's a big rape allegory. It's a big male rape allegory. I'm not joking. I'm not being haha comics gay gay. Like it's literally
Well, he's
the
German,
the the,
so
the science. There's like the science of like a wasp. Wasp impregnate like tarantulas and stuff. And sedate you. But like there's the science behind the sci-fi of Alien, how it grows. But there's the metaphor of like male rape. Generally speaking, like yeah, there's females get assaulted by the alien, and it grows and becomes a parasite within them. But it's really a
Thank you
bunch of
so
men.
much. I'm not going to be able to look at a face hugger ever again without thinking about balls in my
Well,
face.
no,
That's
no.
great.
Honestly, Giger. I'm not sure if it's on Netflix, but Giger had a documentary right before he died, and it's very informative because I've always loved his art, loved Alien, even though the facehugger freaks me out still, because I hate spiders. All of his art is based off of this weird sexual repressed kind of trauma. Not trauma like he was assaulted or anything, but when he was a kid in his town, like Switzerland, they had a mummy exhibit, and it was a female mummy, so it was a lot of like cats, and like feline, body imagery and stuff. And it freaked him out. It scared the fuck out of him. But his sister teased him, so he like forced himself, like a lot of young men used to do when they were scared. They got gumption, they got courage, and he just like faced his fears. And but that left a bad impression on him in his nightmares. And so all of his art, it's not sketches or anything. His art would just come from his spray gun, so like boom, he would just make it on like a mural. And Ridley Scott happened to see it, and he thought this is the guy to make my creature. So all of Giger's stuff is like like weird sexual like horror, biomechanical and stuff.
Huh.
he got all
Almost
that from like being scared of a female mummy.
yeah, yeah. All of if you look at his
That's
art,
really fucked up,
if you look
man.
at all of his art, it's like like dicks and pussies. The alien is a little giant penis head. The face.
There's nothing sexual about a female mummy. That's the thing.
Well,
Well, maybe he
again,
sexualized
with
it.
Angus, it goes back to dicks.
Well,
And
like the mouth, the second mouth is penetrative. The
oh god,
face hugger, if you look at like the
Yeah.
design, it's literally two hands face fucking
No,
you.
I get that. I don't see the correlation between all this stuff and a female mummy exhibit.
Yeah, I
You
mean
know,
it's
I
weird.
just
I don't
I
know,
don't
dude.
think that's what it is. I think
Well,
it's something else
I
that
think
he
it's
didn't want
clear
to
that
talk
he
about.
had. I think it's clear that he had mummy issues.
Oh my god, that was
Well,
amazing.
that's a wrap.
That was the best dad joke in a while. That was great.
Angus, I got to split, buddy.
Yeah, no, dude.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so do
Yeah,
I. I gotta get something to
I
eat.
think we're all winding down. So.
yeah. I'm staying up later than I normally do, but I'm having fun. I'm talking about Alien. I literally I haven't read it yet, but I found a Giger book really cheap at the bookstore in my town, Half Price Books. So I'm really excited to comb through that. But yeah, honestly, there's a couple like just like I would say anti-war or metaphorical art pieces, but yeah, generally Giger's art that inspired Alien and was used. He was like the creature designer for Species as well. It's because he's got a very peculiar look at the world and peculiar look at fantasy, and it's hypersexual and horrific, and it's mesmerizing. It's enticing yet perhaps you should call a priest if you're into the art. You're like, wait a minute.
See, that's funny because I really never got a lot of sexual content from his artwork. I just, I saw it as being something on an extraterrestrial level, but I never really got into the sex stuff
Oh yeah,
about it.
his
Well, yeah, I know it's there, but it's like I look at it, it's like, yeah, but
well, no, I'm saying
there's
his
other
girlfriend.
stuff that
He had a girlfriend who she was, I think, Catholic and pretty religious, but they were fucking around, but it was always bothering her subconscious or whatever. And she ended up killing herself. So I think
Damn.
part of his
Jeez.
I don't know if he was a Satanist, um, or a pagan or what have you, but he definitely had a vendetta against Catholicism, being in Europe. And with designing Alien, the egg was actually supposed to be two folds. It was just supposed to be like a vagina on top, and they're like, "Hey, this looks like a vagina. You better fucking fix this." And you know what he did? He made it two vaginas. That was
right.
his like, "Fuck you, retards." No one caught on,
Huh.
at the studio. He literally just like put two giants across, and made an X out of it, and that's where you get the
Yeah, there was
fourfold
definitely a lot of
egg.
sensuality in the way it opened up, you know, but yeah, I don't know. I just don't make the connection between all that and a mummy exhibit. It's just like, really? I think something else happened. I think he got stuck in the basement with someone and he got bothered or molested or something. Something scarred him, definitely.
I don't know,
But
as expressive and like his expression, what he brought to life, was so
right.
volatile. For the 70s, 60s, and 70s, when he got started getting bigger and doing his stuff, I really don't think he would go through life and not have that type of art um, come into question with like, oh, are you in the war campaign? Are you in a cum cult, Giger? Like
Mm,
that would have came up back then, in my opinion. I don't think it would have been allowed to
yeah.
be repressed, especially with like he's from like a small like village. There have been a lot of superstition. Despite Catholicism or Lutheranism, one of those like older denominations taking hold. I really think he would
Yeah.
have been exposed to the village custom and you
Well,
know
they still hold on to a lot of their pre-Roman pagan beliefs, you know. They have that what is it? The anti-Santa Claus, they made a movie about that thing where
Oh,
it comes along and snags all the
yeah,
bad
yeah,
children. And
yeah.
they even have a parade every year for this thing. And you get like a whole street full of these guys all dressed up the same character, but different guises, different costumes, and
sorry, what character?
they no, it's
I
like
gotta look it up.
Santa Claus is for like the good kids, and then they have this other
Oh, Krampus.
creature,
Krampus.
Krampus. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's like they have a Krampus night. So they have like a parade of Krampuses going around and scaring kids and stuff.
Well, because back in the
So
day, people weren't entitled. It was basically, if you're not good, then this dude's gonna come and
right.
take you away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean there's so much stuff out there,
Gonna turn
that
you into White Walkers.
Yeah.
Oh,
There you go. That'll
Mortal's
do it.
trying to spritz his knowledge now that he's finally in the club. Like, hey, I saw Game of
I'm caught up.
Thrones.
Yeah. No, I'm actually going to be doing a video about all that soon because one of the things that I noticed was with game, if you were season 7 and you're biting your fingernails and then season 8 comes out, whereas I got to binge watch the whole thing. So
Right.
yeah, stay tuned. That should be coming out in the next week.
Dude, I'm excited. I legitimately like. I wouldn't fucking have you on all the time if I didn't like you. I know someone is watching. They're like, who is this immortal jackass that he keeps having on? They're gonna see like your sub count and think like whatever, and it's like no, I believe in you. And it's like some people it just takes longer to for things to click or creativity to catch hold. I mean, you've done it
Well,
on your own before with
I have a silly name, so like I have a bunch of numbers, and so people aren't gonna find me as easily as geeks and gamers. You know,
yeah. That's the thing is like you've already branded yourself, and it's like is it cucking yourself if you rebrand? Like I was thinking about that today. I
nah,
was thinking on the way home about like that that thought of like focus because like I've kind of danced around in my head
sure.
about the Phantom Menace, but I haven't come to that conclusion till today where it's like focus. Comicsgate wants to make comics. What is Phantom Menace like? Yeah, we want to fix Star Wars, we want to fix entertainment, but like how are we offering you? There's no offering of counter culture of alternative, and yeah, but I
Well,
was
it's like that those videos we were doing the other day where a lot of people just like to get on and screech and cry and not offer any solutions or alternatives. One of the things that I really liked about your channel was, I mean, yeah, you can be a jerk and all that kind of stuff, but you still have that
And
like
gay.
smooth, even killed delivery. So it's like, how come we don't have more rational sounding voices? We don't want to have like the screechy crying, and we don't want to have the angry people. We're the level headed thinkers. What can they offer? I want to be one of those guys. So if you can, dear audience, help me get past 120 subs, I really fucking appreciate it. We can
yeah,
party and have a
no,
beer
definitely
sometime.
sub him. But no, I'm excited to see what you have to say about Game of Thrones. We've talked, of course, off air about it, but
Mm.
I haven't really gotten your take because I didn't know you completely finished now. And so I can't wait to
Yeah,
see your take on on season 8. I would say the first 2 episodes are Game of Thrones, and then it just falls off, and they quit trying after those 2 episodes, in my opinion.
it's really interesting because I've been considering all the angles that I've heard because Doomcock was very vocal about it. EVS was kind of like and he cited the seasons where he kind of fell off, and I'm taking all this into consideration. And then like I hear like it sounds like you don't think it was terribly like apocalyptic, but it just kind of was like
It
like
was the
you
delivery. It wasn't the
it's like you
story. The story is
well
totally
you
fine for George R. R. Martin.
yeah, and then that's also one of the pieces I want to touch on. There was an article that came out. George R. R. Martin wasn't even happy with the whole like when they diverged from his books and shit. So I have a couple of different angles I want to explore, and like I'm saying, it should be up by the weekend. So
Yeah, I
yeah, check
love
it
you
out, bro.
guys, but I have to dip.
Oh, you're
I got
still
work
here.
All
tomorrow.
right, Steve.
Fuck.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
thought.
I'm
I
Well,
got a
no,
jam
my
too.
computer's frozen, so like I can go onto OBS, but I can't go on to Google
Well,
like
just
Chrome.
is like your GoFundMe still up? Can we still go and like chuck a couple dollars your way?
yeah. GoFundMe's still up, and I appreciate everybody that's donated to it. Thank you so much. It got the ball
Is there
rolling.
a
Volume one.
is there a minimum? Like, do you have to at least donate $1 or
I
like
mean, if you
what's the
donate a
range?
dollar, yeah. I mean, I'm not actually actually not actually sure, but if you donate a dollar, I mean, whatever you can give, it's great. The more money we can generate, the cheaper we can make the book, really. So that's where we're at. I'm going to try and make a profit with it, of course, but like because of the donations that we have gotten thus far, we were able to bring down the price. The projected price. So yeah, thank you to everybody, and love you, Angus. Watch those dick pics, and Wolf Immortal. Peace,
Hey,
guys.
hey, really, really quick, Steven.
All right, bro.
Yeah.
Um, just because, like, sometimes when I have Comicsgate on here, I actually try to get some insight just to help, not just myself because I want to do some Comicsgate projects, but just give any Comicsgaters come around. that insight to kind of give them the edge. I think that's one of the things Comicsgate misses generally is informing
Uh-huh.
how to do it, what to expect, expenditure, and where to look, what to expect. And one thing I heard from the Mandy stream with Malin a few months ago when she started War with the Wizard is to Print Ninja is
Mhm.
supposedly the cheapest. It's in China, so you got to wait for shipping. But I looked at the pricing compared to like anywhere around where I am, where I assume anyone's around, because I did one like in Iowa as well or something online. Print Ninja, they got so many varieties of formats of types of books, not just comics or magazines. So look into them. I know you're wanting to get the first volume out before Rise of Skywalker in people's hands. But going forward, if you're willing to like wait longer, which isn't crazy for any go-go's,
Mhm.
um, look into Print Ninja. It could save you a lot on expenditure and actually help you and or might get a profit out of it.
All right, cool. I'll check that out. Thanks, Angus.
Yeah, I can't believe I haven't told you this before. And remind me if I forget after the stream to get you my number.
Okay. All right, man. Have a good night, guys. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for watching, and have a
Take care,
great night.
Steven.
Love you, brother. Take
Yeah,
it easy.
Immortal and Roger, anything closing out you want to shill aside from yourselves? Um, specific stories you're reading. I know Immortal. Immortal, did you finish
Yeah.
Red? Did you finish Red Sun?
Yes, sir, I did actually 2 days ago. So just real quick, uh Angus and I did a video on Ray Schmeewalker, and I kind of cited Star Trek lore to support my opinion, and he cited this Red Sun, uh, which is a really well written story. I was actually kind of trying to decide whether I should review that as its own thing or do this Game of Thrones thing. But when the press started coming out about Game of Thrones, I was like, well, there's the fucking obvious answer. But that was a very compelling story, and I saw how you were talking about how they did the time loop at the end. So like Earth basically became an analog to Krypton, and then they had to send Kal-El back, and had he landed in Siberia, which is like the tungsten incident, instead of the Kansas in the United States. Very very compelling stuff, and there was some. I mean, if you like DC, you know that uh, some of the writing has been off in the sense that they're embracing the social justice and all that kind of stuff. Um, the writing here was pretty good. I'm not so sure about some of the art because I thought that they made Diana look pretty masculine at times.
Well, that's because
Uh,
she's there to, she's Russian and she's there to take your back hole.
Pretty much, yeah. And like Superman's the only one who she refuses to. And then there was that pining away kind of element. Lois Lane was Mrs. Luthor, and Lex was just as obsessed with Superman as he would have been in the normal universe. But what we find out is that maybe Superman's version of utopia isn't what the world needed. So there's some pretty interesting questions there. I liked how they did Batman. That was interesting too. Um, Very, very well written trilogy. Although I have to admit that one of the things that bothered me was as I was reading through it, I saw advertisements for Mark Wade. you know, he wrote like an origin story for Superman, and all the stuff that EVS has revealed to us about Mark Wade. I honestly can't see myself like being willing to be entertained by his story ideas because I just know too much about the motherfucker.
Um,
I
yeah, no, I look forward to your content. I like, um, I like how you go about making content. It's a nice change
Well, I
up. Like I
appreciate
never know when to expect it too. So I'm kind of a Immortal fanboy. And so
that.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, I never know because I can't keep up, talking to you every day. You're in Washington, time difference and everything. And so
and
I'm
then
like,
suddenly something will jump out
yeah,
of
something
nowhere.
like, I'm scrolling through my feed, and then I see like Savage Spirituality, I see the DNA coil, and I'm like, hey,
There
finally,
it
something
is.
different. It's not just the news. It's like, all right, he might be covering news, but he's got something deep to say,
Got something to say.
even if it's casual news. So,
Well, that's kind of part of what chapped my ass about when Urban Acolyte was running his suck, because he was trying to characterize the Fandom Menace as these doughboy, estrogen filled motherfuckers, and I wish I had enough time and resources to upload every day, like all the people I look up to. But I literally walk like 2 miles to work, and I'm unloading trucks, and I'm building fucking warehouses. I ain't got time to do that all the time. So when I do have time to do it, I try to upload, and usually it's like once or twice a week. But I'll be there for you guys. Prop me up. I'll crowd surf all the way to the fucking top. That's why I really liked Steven's attitude and his willingness to embrace the small channels. Because we're on the ground level, we're hungry, we're willing to do this, and we're going to tell the truth because we don't have a bunch of hands to shake. Yeah, I eat gas station food every day, so
I eat a lot of gas station food just because I get up late and go to work rushing.
yeah, there's
But yeah,
decent beer. Yeah.
getting out a fairly timely manner. We've burned the midnight oil. Roger,
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
up with you? Um,
With
is
me,
there a fucking reason to even look at your channel? No, I'm
no,
fucking with
none
you.
at all. None at all.
I've been meaning to tell you, Roger. Um, it would have to be something very specific and just like kind of random. In the same time, for me and my wife to do a stream, talk about a movie, really catches her fancy, talk something deep about it. But you know, I would really love to do a stream with you and Viv, depending on like an upcoming movie. I don't know what's coming up besides Star Wars at the end of the year, and Cats
Right.
and Jumanji. That's just because of like pop awareness, but no, like listen to your Glass review with your wife, like I an Aquaman even, like yeah, I really love to do a stream with you and your wife sometime. So
Yeah.
I mean she's married to you, so I'm assuming she can handle my gayness. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I miss content from you, so yeah, get on it, dude. Do my
Yeah.
bidding.
I gotta grab my mic from where I have it in storage. So, because without it, I have to use my phone, and it's better if I have everything going on my laptop. So I got to grab that, and we'll do that.
Oh man, sorry, some little pussy wussy on my 501st video. John Smith, he says, he shared a link. He said, "Now here is someone who made a true parody of his stolen design as well, one totally different to show that Steven obviously has no creative imagination of his own, nor skills other than to trace someone's work. So it's just, a crybaby, of course. But I looked at the Twitter. It's called Fandom Parody, and there's like a Kermit, the dark Kermit with like the Jedi covering on his head, and it's called
Right.
like the Tadpole Menace or something. And it's like
Oh
we
God.
we serve Caesar or something like that. And it's got like little spermy looking tadpoles. I think it's on purpose. And I'm looking at it, and it's like like SJW. So it's like sharing a bunch of Renfamous stuff unironically. Um,
I didn't realize that we were that periodable yet.
but I see it, and
Wow.
I'm like, it's SJW, but
Wow.
it's like it's like potable water. Like, what is uh reasonable levels of contaminants? Like, how much lead is okay to expose to the populace? And I feel that this parody, just gleaming through it for a few seconds, um, is that allowable threshold of soy
Agreed.
Yeah.
contaminants. So yeah, if you want to find that, go in my comments on my SJW in the 501st video, and you'll see John Smith commenting. Go to that link. It looks funny. I'm probably gonna follow this Twitter. But yeah, go sub to both these guys. I don't have any links up. I don't know how to like set up streams like as scheduled on OBS yet. So sorry. I'm learning
Cool.
here and there. But yeah, thank you all for coming. Thanks for
Mm.
chatting with me about 501st pussies. Not that the 501st itself is a pussy league, but there are pussies in that league. That's what I'm saying. Um, and
Well,
you
I
know,
appreciate you having us on, and I think it's
Yeah.
probably more analogous to there was one or two shit stirrers in war campaign. They got quickly ousted. So look, 501st, if that's not your official position, handle your shit. We're
Yeah.
certainly going to handle ours.
yeah, I mean, if you really if this wasn't a if we were the bad guys, why are you deleting your tweets and Facebook posts um, when we call
Well,
you
that's
out?
just it.
Like I'm
You
not.
know.
Like when I clear my Twitter, if you go on like my social blade, which I don't know anyone would, but I don't hide it for people. Like I clear my Facebook every so often or my Twitter because of I want to use it as a what do you call it? Like a preserver. I don't know a better word at the moment. Like a chronicle or something where it's like I can scroll through and find like, that's the picture I was looking for. That's the post I'm looking for.
Oh, right.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna fucking keep LOLs and dumb likes of like, oh, you liked because I'm at it. Like, no, I don't need that in my fucking history. That's just a waste of
Yeah.
space. So I clear it so I keep important shit. Where like I shared this important picture, etc. This important tweet that really said something. So
Well,
like, what were we saying?
you can use your moments for that. You can save tweets into the folders in moments and create a file.
Yeah. Also, you never know. You never know. No matter how calm you are, I feel I'm a pretty calm person. You never know when you might become emotional when you get on the Twatterverse,
Mm.
and especially if it's like a thread where you're saying multiple posts because of the character limitation. They could, SJWs could take one post of you and twist it totally out of context. So it's within, it's in your favor just to clear your shit every so often. Not to hide SGW, like an SGW or something. That's totally different. I try to clear junk. I try to clear trash where it's like, you don't need to scroll through my shit and see I said LOL to something.
Oh, right.
Yeah. No, like if I have a debate with someone, if it was worth it, I'll totally leave it up. But if it's just like something clouding, something I'm trying to find later, like yeah, I'll probably delete that. Some people think you should just leave everything up for clear history, and I respect them, but it's like I want to keep stuff that's important to me. So, it's I'm an individualist when it comes to like how I think you should handle your Twitter. But I'll call you out when it's like very obvious that you're don't have a pattern of doing that. You don't think to clean your shit until something inconvenient that can be used against you. That's the line I'll clarify. I mean that's just me. Um, Love it or leave it. I don't know. But yeah, go sub to Roger and Immortal. Thanks for hanging out with me on this long, silly stream. And talk to y'all Friday for the pre-Senate. Maybe, just maybe. I haven't really chatted with him, but I've seen him active more. Maybe Sith Kryptonian will be coming out finally for the Senate on Friday. So I'm trying to
He's
get
been
him on.
long overdue.
I'm gonna try and get him on for mine, so we can just daisy chain pre-Senate and Senate, and get y'all back in the groove with Sith Kryptonian. Because a lot of people, like Red Gaze, he's been on a lot of streams. He's like, "Yeah, I didn't understand why you called it the pre-Senate," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's silly stuff, man." But it's yeah, Sith Kryptonian
Mm.
has the Senate, so. But yeah, I'm just gonna hang up because this stuff always drags on. So thanks for coming by and some of these guys, and appreciate y'all hanging out.